bit nauseous. I won't tell you why. Let's just say I cracked something. I sat on something I shouldn't have sat on, and now I'm in trouble. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots to talk about this morning, including the widow fighting for time to bear her late husband's children. Bedford hospital bosses fighting for time to save services. And Sheila, who's fighting... I'm not saying what you want me to say, Catherine.
What, litterbugness?
Yes. If you want to take part in the show, then, you know, do it and stuff, innit? Get in touch. Usual ways, phones, internets, whatever you fancy, really.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can I play a song? Did I open that fader a little bit too quickly?
That was Kelly Betts.
Kelly Betts, what did you say?
We were talking about litterbugation.
Well. We didn't hear, don't worry. The look of panic on their faces. Terrifying. Can I play a song?
Wait, what are you putting in now?
A compact disc.
A compact...
I was in London yesterday, I had time to kill. I saw the most vulgar T-shirt I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
In a shop window. It's disgusting. It was a naked woman with the word Google, and they'd use her breasts to make the ooh.
Oh, that's clever.
They put a mask over her eyes as if she was some sort of victim of crime.
And then it said, the word...
F Google, ask me.
Disgusting. Anyway, that was one of the many highlights.
She didn't look like she knew many facts.
No.
She didn't know where a vest was, for a start.
Anyway, that was one of the many highlights of my day in London. I went and bought a record. I went and actually bought some records. And then I bought a CD. It's $1.99 CD on the counter. So I'm going to have that.
I approve of this purchase. I saw it on Twitter yesterday.
It's a cracker. This is Cerys Matthews.
Oh, yes.
Right, and this album, it's from 2006. It's flipping brilliant. What was the song I wanted? Oh, listen, it's a bit of a miserable song.
I love Cerys Matthews.
I think she...
So do I.
Oh.
What?
That's my Cerys Matthews.
It's more like Eartha Kitt. I'm going to play this. I think she's brilliant. And it's a bit of a maudlin song, so we'll play a happy song afterwards. But this is quite nice. Should we have a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I get the CD player to... Oh, it's working.
Can Kath introduce it? Pure Cerys.
Hello, I'm Cerys Matthews. Lovely, isn't it?
It's terrible. No, Kelly Betts. Say that again.
This song's sucking it out of me. I appreciate it. I like it.
It's beautiful.
10 minutes past 6.
Justin, I just think it's I bought this album. It's been a long time since I've done an impulse purchase in a record shop, and I saw this on the counter, $1.99. I thought, I'll have a bit of that. I've listened to it twice in the car already. It's wonderful. Justin Dealey has just messaged me using the internal BBC messaging service, ENPS, Electronic Navigational Protracted System, and he says... No idea. Local connection. Cerys is a Luton fan and goes to the games. I've seen her there loads of times. The first word her kids said was Luton.
Woo!
That's a little bit disappointing, to be honest. Right, 08459 455 555. Now, a Newport Pagnell woman will find out later whether she'll be allowed more time to bear her late husband's children. Warren Brewer had a sample of his sperm frozen before undergoing treatment for cancer. Sadly, he didn't survive, but his widow Beth thought his wishes for her to use the sample in her own time had been made clear. But the paperwork suggests otherwise, doesn't it, Catherine?
I'm afraid so. Under the current rules on fertility treatment, samples can only be stored for 10 years unless extra paperwork is signed to extend that time frame. Warren Brewer had his sample frozen back in 2005, and he died before he could fill out any more forms. His widow Beth is arguing that he thought he'd left her completely free to use the sample as and when, and if and when she was ready to start a family, but she's 28. She doesn't feel that time's right yet. And because that sample was frozen in 2005, she's got a year to use it now. And when we last spoke to Beth, she told us that she may never use this sample. If she meets someone new at some time in the future, it may no longer be appropriate, but she's fighting to achieve the flexibility that she says Warren wanted her to have. If she loses this case, though, as I say, she's got until next April to use a sample before it's destroyed.
Could this matter have been resolved without going to the High Court?
Well, I'm sure Beth would have preferred it that way, because obviously it's a very personal case. It's left her relationship up to a great deal of scrutiny from people who don't know her. She's come in from a lot of flack from people and groups who have ethical objections to what she's considering doing. And still, there is a principle at stake here. And the leniency that she's asking for from the High Court could have implications, not just for Beth, but for the future of fertility treatment, which is how it's come to this.
She's not totally without support, though, is there? There are people fighting her corner.
No, she says that Warren's family are right behind her, and her own family and friends have been extremely supportive. Plus, she's backed by Diane Blood, and we spoke to her last time this story came up as well. Diane is a woman who fought a similar battle, not the same thing, but a similar battle nearly 20 years ago, and she's actually had children by her late husband. She's been going along to court in person to follow Beth's case.
And what happens today?
The High Court's due to pass judgment on the case today. Previously, Judge Mrs Justice Hogg heard evidence from Beth Warren and the Human Fertilisation and Embryology Authority at a hearing in the Family Division of the High Court in London. She reserved judgment when that happened, and she said she'd deliver a ruling which we're expecting early this afternoon.
And Beth's coming on the show later on.
She is, yes. She'll be en route to court. She's got a number of television engagements today. She'll be all over the media.
Can we put this out there as to what people think about this? I mean, we had lots of calls the other day about gay adoption saying, it's not natural. Oh, it's not natural. I would argue, it could be argued that this is literally less natural, in as much as it is not a natural process that would lead to her having children with her dead husband's sperm.
I think maybe, as well, I need to flag up the fact that Warren only died in 2012.
Yep. So we don't want to make this a personal attack on her at all, and, it's all still very fresh in her mind. But
she admitted to us that she's still grieving, and that's all still,
of course, and we won't turn it into an attack on Beth. I'm just keen to get people's thoughts in kind of a general way about people who have children using the sperm of partners that have deceased.
Do you know, I would love to hear from someone who was married to someone who died, and whether you would want to have that happen to you. Not for them to die, but whether you would want to have had their children afterwards.
0845, thank you, Catherine. 08459 455 555. Yes, we're not going to make this a personal attack or otherwise on Beth. That would be cruel and inappropriate to do that. But the principle, the general idea of having the children of someone who's passed away several years after they've passed away. If you look at it biologically, it's not natural, and I mean that in the most literal sense of natural, in as much as lots of scientific processes have to take place. How does it sit with you? Does it make you uncomfortable? Do you say, no, it's fine? Now, I said we'd have something more upbeat than the first song, the beautiful Endless Rain by Keris Matthews, and it don't get no more upbeat than this! Literally the most upbeat song in the world. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, 08459 455 555 if you want to take part in the show. Bedford hospital bosses are concerned that a decision to farm out some services is the biggest threat to the hospital to date. It could mean that patients needing musculoskeletal treatment could be cared for elsewhere, starting a domino effect where services are lost one by one. Those fears were compounded yesterday when it was announced the process will start on April the 1st. 3 weeks' time. From then on, things like hip and knee replacements will be managed by a consortium of private companies and NHS bodies, or at least that's the plan. The Hospital Trust says it's still not received all the necessary information, which means that official signing of the contract will be delayed. Well, someone who's been following this closely is the former Labour MP for Bedford, Patrick Hall, who's also the prospective Labour parliamentary candidate for Bedford. Morning, Patrick.
Good morning, Iain.
Patrick, before we start talking about this, you handed in a petition, didn't you, about paediatric services last night? Tell us more.
Yes, I attended a meeting of the Bedfordshire Clinical Commissioning Group in Flitwick and handed in a petition basically calling for the health authorities to restore all children's services to Bedford Hospital as soon as possible. Much of that work has already been done, so I was pleased with that. And what we were saying was really, complete the job, and the commitment is there to do that. So that's good news.
Hospital bosses say that this, that we're talking about this morning, is a greater threat. Would you agree?
Absolutely. This is something entirely different. And indeed, I wasn't there for the discussion about the part privatisation of the musculoskeletal services, but what happened yesterday with the Bedfordshire Clinical Commissioning Group, which is responsible for organising all of this, is that because Bedford Hospital and Circle Health is a private company that is now the lead provider to deliver these services, because Bedford Hospital and Circle Health has not yet come to agreement on all the safety issues that are necessary, despite the fact that this process was supposed to start from last October. The decision was taken yesterday that in fact it won't start on the 1st of April, and no date has yet been agreed as to when the full service begins. So here we are, taking months, spending a lot of money, and overarching all of this is uncertainty about something that is fundamental.
So who's to blame for this delay?
Well, I'm not into the blame game in terms of the details of Bedford Hospital and Circle Health and all that sort of thing. I think it's the system. It's the system that's wrong. The government requires health services to go out to tender now, subject to competition law. And that's very time-consuming, it's costly, it's a diversion of time and attention from what the health service should be all about, which is using taxpayers' money to look after people in this country. That's what it's all about. And all these devices that have been forced on health services are difficult and take a lot of time and trouble.
Bedford Hospital are stalling slightly, aren't they, in that they're holding out for certain information. Are they right to do this, or is this putting principle before care?
No, I don't think this is about political principle within Bedford Hospital. It's about trying to get safe services for local people, accessible to people living in this area. If it doesn't work out, this will undermine Bedford Hospital, and it will also not be a good service for local people who may have to travel a lot further. I mean, under this system, Iain, this is, I think, quite incredible. Under the new system that's supposed to have already started and is now going to be further delayed, Bedford Hospital is being asked to become a subcontractor to a private profit-making health company. And I find that this sort of development in the National Health Service is something that people really need to wake up to and be concerned about.
Patrick, what would you like to see happen?
Well, I'd like to see this whole system ditched and returned to a national health service concentrating on delivering the best services for people and improving the health service by cooperation, not by forcing competition on our NHS and wasting money and time on doing that. But, of course, that's something that we can't achieve this year. We need a general election to address those issues. What I hope will happen now is that there's proper discussion and negotiation between Circle Health, Bedford Hospital, to make sure that local people get the safest and best treatment accessible in this area in Bedford, as is the case at the moment.
Patrick, thanks very much for getting up at this ridiculous time in the morning to talk about this. It's much appreciated. Prospective Labour parliamentary candidate for Bedford, Patrick Hall. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555. It's going up to 6:30. Wow.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah. Stephen the Meltman's on the line. Morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Mr. Lee. How are you?
Do you know what, mate? I'm full of I'm full of something.
You're full of it, yeah.
I'm full of what do you call the joys of spring. Kelly, deliver the news you just delivered to me.
What?
Deliver the news you just delivered to me. Deliver it to the listener.
What news?
The news. You just... Oh, for goodness sake. You just came in and you delivered some news to me. Deliver it to the listener.
I love you?
No. That's not news. You came in and you said something.
Oh, okay. It's lighter outside this morning.
Yeah?
Isn't it, Stephen? Are you out?
Yes, I'm out.
You feeling it? You feeling spring, Stephen?
Yes.
Spring has sprung. Spring has sprung. Song she sang to me, song she brang to me. Made up word by Neil Diamond there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm turning your microphone off, Kelly.
Bye.
Stephen, what did you like? What would you like to say, sir?
I have to tell you, you've got it wrong yet again, Mr. Lee.
What?
It's not Whitney Houston. It's Liquid Gold and Dance Yourself Dizzy.
What on earth is that?
Oh, my goodness me.
Is that a song?
Get your man Justin, he'll tell you all about that, and you put it on and you'll be bopping around the studio.
Liquid Gold. Luckily we don't have that on the system, otherwise I would... No, you can't, Catherine, don't worry, you're busy retyping stuff that wasn't left in a fit standard to broadcast. Sing it to me, Stephen.
Oh, dear me. He goes, dance yourself dizzy. That's, I can't remember the next bit. Luckily for you.
Shall I play it for you now?
Go on.
Go on, I found it. Introduce it and I'll play it.
Here's Liquid Gold and Dance Yourself Dizzy.
Not a chance.
Hell miss.
What happened to that guy? Morning, Catherine.
Morning.
Nice to see you.
Nice to be seen.
Yeah, they're getting rid of BBC Three. It's in the news.
No more Snog, Marry, Avoid.
What a shame. They're getting rid... It's in a lot of the papers. They had to get rid of one channel. It's BBC Three they done got rid of. Good.
Good news, though. You can see it on the iPlayer if you like to see girls having their makeup taken off.
Snog, marry, avoid. My mum was a lesbian piece of cheese. Look at that dog doing a poo. Those are 3 of the programmes.
Pitch 'em. Doesn't it still cost the same amount to make the programmes?
Yeah, of course it does.
So what are they paying for? Does telly time cost?
Well, they'll make them for cheaper. They'll say, I've got no budget, I'm afraid, it's for online. But the thing is, everyone's going, but all this great new talent that was exposed because of BBC Little Britain started on BBC Three. It didn't. It started on Radio 4. All of these other programmes that started... Gavin and Stacey started on BBC... Well, hang on. That's what BBC Two was for. BBC Two used to be the breeding ground for new talent, where they try things that were a little bit experimental.
You know what happened? The BBC bought a big new house and spread out, and then realised they couldn't afford it, so now they're moving downsizing.
No one,
again.
apart from 16-year-old wannabes and Radio 1 presenters, will miss BBC Three.
Here's an idea. Listen to the radio again.
Yay.
Because that's where a lot of new talent is.
It's... you can't. You're old. You're not new talent. You're just old.
Well, yeah, but I was new talent. But unfortunately, because of BBC Three, I've been allowed to get a little bit
flabby around the.
No, I wouldn't say flabby.
Well,
I've been
jowly.
allowed to mature. That's what I've done.
Like a stinky cheese.
Wow.
You're like a bishop's finger.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's a compliment.
That's a beer.
Is it?
You're thinking stinking bishop.
Oh, yeah. You're like a stinking bishop.
Yeah, thanks.
But not the cheese. Just a really smelly man of the cloth.
Well, at least I'm of the cloth.
You're touching the cloth. Now... Papers! What you got? Have you got anything?
No, because I've been really working really hard.
You look, because I've got stuff. I've got loads of stuff.
Go on.
The front page of the Times. Stop ritual slaughter of animals, says top vet. There's a top vet? I didn't know there was a top vet. Muslims and Jews urged to use humane methods. This is quite interesting. And this is quite interesting. The religious slaughter of animals should be banned if Muslims and Jews refuse to adopt more humane methods of killing. So basically, halal, isn't it, is where you hang the animal upside down and you slit its throat while
let it bleed out.
You let it bleed out. Apparently because the blood it contains diseases. I don't know what the other arguments are.
And there are prayers said at the same time.
Good for them. Good for them. That must make the people that are doing the slitting of the throats feel much better. I don't know what impact it would have on the animals. The Western way of killing animals, or slaughtering animals, I believe, is they stun them and then it's a bolt through the head. Yeah. Neither are particularly gorgeous and glamorous, but it could be argued that the Western way is less cruel and less painful. Well, the John Blackwell, the president-elect of the British Veterinary Association, said that basically halal and kosher meat cause unnecessary suffering and it should be stopped. Now, this is interesting for several reasons. I know we have lots of Asian and Jewish listeners. Is halal and kosher, do you think it's cruel? 08459 455 555. Shall I say what's been going on?
Oh, well, hang on, what bit?
What I've been up to. Shall I say what I've been up to?
What bit of what you've been up to? I don't know. Your can of worms, crack it open.
Kelly Betts. Guess, I've been a vegetarian for 25 years. Guess what I had for my supper on Sunday?
Meat.
A steak.
A steak? Was that your first bit of meat?
It was yeah, pretty much, yes. Let's say yes, although it's not completely. My first bit of meat in 25 years, my first steak ever. I texted my wife on Sunday morning and said, do you know how to cook the steak? She went, yes. I said, I'll have a medium, please. I had a steak.
Wow.
2 nights ago...
Wait, going back to the steak, how did it feel? Had you missed it?
It was intense. I was sucking it. Have you ever sucked a steak?
No.
It tasted... Oh, look at Catherine's face. You look like a happy, proud mum.
Well, no, it's just I remember the day after you came in saying, oh, man alive, what is this new wonder?
If you have listened to Monday's show, you will have heard a perkiness in my step that has not been there for 25 years. I could see colours more brightly. I was focused. I was positive. I was on top of my game.
Think Dracula after.
I thought if a vegetarian ate meat, they would feel a bit sick.
No.
Of what he's not used to.
I had quite bad indigestion, and my mouth tasted of fur.
Oh.
Tasted of fur?
Yeah, it was furry. But apart from that as well, Wednesday night... Tuesday night, homemade beef burgers.
Wow.
Saturday night, I'm having some lamb.
Wow.
I know. Now, what I'm doing is I'm having 2 weeks... full-on...
binge.
full on having the meat. I'm 2 weeks having the meat, and then I'm going to sit back and have a little bit of quiet contemplation.
I feel like somebody should be a vegetarian while you're eating meat.
We need to
balance it out.
Is there anybody? That's actually an excellent point. Have we got a listener who is a meat eater who will be prepared to go vegetarian for the rest of this week and next week? 08459 455 555, just to balance out the equation ever so slightly. I've got to say, the steak was amazing. It was amazing. I've never tasted anything. So the texture, it was the texture as well. The texture's a big thing with me, I've discovered.
You're used to crunch, fresh, watery, juicy. Now you're getting something else, a bit more fibrous.
So I'm going to have another week and a half of it. But we do need. This is a serious point that Kelly Betts has raised. We need someone to become vegetarian for the next 10, 12 days. Is that you?
What about Kelly?
Kelly, would you do it?
Sorry, what?
Would you be up for it? Catherine?
I love meat, though.
Yeah, I know
I like it, pretty much raw.
Yeah, I know. You love it raw.
I don't think I could.
You just can't get enough.
I think I could. I reckon I could do it.
Then would you do it?
Can I have prawns?
No.
Well, then no.
OK, well, that's that. Catherine, what have you found in the papers?
I
wasn't going to say that on the radio, by the way. I was keeping that to myself. I've kind of come out.
Unleashed. Do you remember the other day... Oh... Remember the other day we were talking about that dog that got stuck in a hole?
Oh, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed the dog getting stuck in a hole. That was awesome.
What was it called again? I can't remember what its name was.
It was like Benny or something. I say it was called Benny.
No, it was something more like Frisky or...
Flippant. Was it called?
Anyway, there's another one of these. Firefighters spending time saving animals.
Oh, for goodness
scandals.
sakes.
This is in Daily Mail. This time it's a cockatiel, which was stuck up a tree. Can they get stuck up a tree, birds? I thought that's just what birds do.
Yeah, they go up trees. It was up a tree. It wasn't stuck.
So, 10 firemen, 1 PCSO and an RSPCA inspector. This is according to the Mail. Waste 7 hours trying to rescue a cockatiel up a tree until its owner lures it down. How? With a pink dressing gown. Remembering that her pet Georgie loved to snuggle in the bright pink dressing gown, she decided to don the robe and call him, to the amazement of more than 100 onlookers. Her plan worked and the cockatiel flew down.
I like birds. I like budgies.
I don't get why you'd want one as a pet.
You want one as a pet, but I like budgies. I like cockatiels. I like a cockatoo. It's just, but I don't understand why you'd want to have them in a cage.
My granddad had a cockatiel, right, called Oscar, that he inherited from my auntie, who's had a series of pets that she tires of, and they end up living with my grandparents. But Oscar used to sit in the cage and look at him as my granddad, with flipping monkey nuts in his hand, would say, "Now say Bertie. Say Bertie."
Did it say Bertie?
That bird never said a thing. He just looked at him like he was an idiot.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Iain in Milton Keynes, stay there. I will be with you before 7 o'clock. But before that, I just want to mention this. A licence application is due to be considered today for a camping and entertainments weekend at the Reach near Nash to coincide with the Kings of Leon concert in Milton Keynes. Aylesbury Vale District Councillors will decide whether to approve the event, which will provide camping for concert goers and entertainment, including European DJs playing dance music into the early hours. Man alive, I am old because that sounds like hell to me. Our Milton Keynes reporter Craig Lewis is in the studio. Craig, first of all, does it sound like your kind of thing?
Not European DJs until 3. Far too old for that now, Ian.
Why would European DJs want to go to Nash?
Well, that is the question, Ian. And the simple answer is they'll have a bit of a captive audience waiting for them there come the weekend of June 21st and 22nd. And by that, I don't mean the noble worthies on Nash Parish Council,
no.
Or I think probably would agree with us. It's because that's the weekend when American rock stars, the Kings of Leon, are going to be playing at Milton Keynes Bowl. And one local entrepreneur has decided to take advantage of that by offering concert goers a camping and entertainments weekend to supplement their visit to the bowl. Halo Limited, they're based at a very rural location, it's called The Reach. They'll be inviting guests to arrive between midday and 9pm on the Saturday, and there'll be entertainment between 7 and 1 in the morning on Saturday night and into Sunday morning. And the fun starts all over again on the Sunday when campers are transported down to the bowl for the Kings of Leon concert, and when they return from there at 11 o'clock, an after party of sorts is going to take place. It'll run until 3 o'clock on Sunday morning, and the no doubt happy campers will then grab a breakfast on Monday morning and start home.
Hey, what could possibly go wrong?
The major concern from residents is a worry about noise. The reach is located close to the A421, roughly equidistant between three small villages, Nash, Little Horwood and Great Horwood, and the parish councils from all three of these areas have complained to Aylesbury Vale District Council, and they'll currently actually be heading off to the licensing committee of that council right about now, because it's meeting at 9:30 this morning. I spoke to Alan Taylor, the chairman of Nash Parish Council.
The potential for noise is horrendous. The first houses are under a mile from the site. Now they're talking of possibly up to 2,000 people with alcohol. And although I'm certainly not accusing the proprietors of getting mixed up with drugs, from my limited knowledge of such events, young people, loud music, alcohol, you can usually hear that drugs have come into it somewhere.
Yeah, that's Alan Taylor, the chairman of Nash Parish Council, and it's not just noise issues which are worrying people. There are also concerns that access could be a major problem. I went to the Reach earlier this week, and I have to say it's a pretty narrow entrance down there, Ian, and onto the land where the event's going to take place. It's not far from the A421, which can be a busy road, particularly on Monday morning when commuters are heading into Milton Keynes, and that's going to be exactly the time where all these bleary-eyed concert goers are heading back out into the real world. I also spoke to Anna Taylor. She's from coach company Concept Travel, and she fears her business is going to be affected as well.
We're mainly concerned about the access and the large number of people and cars that will be attending, and problems that it may well cause as we share an access road. Our coaches have to reverse out of the yard and back up towards the premises for the licence application. Obviously at this point we're all crossing each other's entrances, and it does pose proper safety concerns for us. That we have had incidents out here before with the coaches I've had one had an accident with a car.
It's one weekend, and while it might not be our thing, I can understand that why people would want to do this. Will one weekend really make all that much difference?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting one, Ian, and 10 years ago this probably would have been exactly my thing, so I can understand why they'd want to put this event on. The people behind Halo Limited insist they only want to provide this event for concerts at MK Bowl. Notably, 3 big-name acts have already been confirmed for the Bowl this year, with Pearl Jam and electronics music experts Dreamscape also due to play there, so that could be 3 events rather than 1 straight away. And the licence applied for would, in theory, allow Halo to put on events whenever they wanted. Villagers fear events could follow when Silverstone comes to town for the Grand Prix. That's not too far away. Or simply pop up as standalone festivals. Now, Halo vigorously deny this, saying they wouldn't have the time, the money or the implication to do anything like that.
What suggestions have Halo come up with to combat the noise and the access problems?
Well, they don't really think that the noise is going to be a problem at all. They've had 2 previous events there during concerts at the Bowl, and they say they didn't have a single complaint at all. They've spoken to neighbours in the area previously, asked them to flag up any difficulties, and that's not just happened at all. This year's application would allow for a larger event, up to 2,000 people, as compared to the previous 500. Halo insists that figure is likely to be more around about 1,000, and they say the PA systems used to pump out this music are going to be exactly the same as before. So although there'll be more people, it's still only going to be the same sound levels. They also say they've been praised by Thames Valley Police and Aylesbury Vale District Council for the way they've run previous events, and they say the access roads have been checked and approved by the council. Now, I spoke to Jack Osborne from Halo, and this is what he had to say.
With regards to noise levels, we have run the event previously in 2011, 2012, which we've used the exact same setup, the same sound system, and the same DJs were performing there. We operated those under a Thames licence, which means that we had limited capacity, but we ran the same event style with the same setup, and we had no complaints from neighbours. We are in quite a rural location. There's not too many domestic dwellings in the area. It's mostly commercial in the area, so we do notify everybody in the local area, and we also have been consulting with environmental health with regards to sound regulations. We don't expect there to be any problem with traffic. We have a pretty serious traffic management plan that we've put in place. That's also been signed off by Aylesbury Vale District Council, Thames Valley Police, and the Bucks Fire Authority have all signed that off. We do have security. We have stewards on site 24/7. We guide traffic through to off-site car parks. So as soon as people come along on the main road, they're directed straight off. It's a constant flow of traffic until their car's parked. There's not expected to be any problem at all with traffic.
Yeah, that was Jack Osborne from Halo explaining why he doesn't think there'll be any problems. And there is one last sort of twist in this, really, and that's that the whole application, everything that's going on at 9:30 this morning, could be entirely academic, because even if it's turned down today, some form of event is likely to be taking place at the Reach come June. And that's because Halo already has a temporary events licence. It would allow them to put on the kind of events they have done twice before, and villagers may be faced with this, whatever happens.
Oh dear. Well, Craig, thank you very much for that. We shall follow this story with interest. 08459 455 555 if you want to have your say on that. Ian's in Milton Keynes. Morning, Ian.
Morning.
Now, listen, we're going off on tangents this morning, as we always do. For 2 weeks, after 25 years of vegetarian me, for 2 weeks I'm going to be eating the meat. I've already had a steak, I've already had a homemade burger. I'm thinking I might pop to Prisoners after the show and get a bacon sandwich.
You can't beat a bacon sandwich.
Oh, man alive. 2 weeks. But Kelly Betts raised the interesting point. We need to redress the balance. We need a meat eater to become a vegetarian. I believe you've got a sausage in your hand right now, have you?
I've got a sausage sandwich, yeah. I'm halfway through it, yeah. So I'm going to finish this and that'll be it.
Oh, hang on. Whoa, hang on a minute. That's not much commitment to the course. Do you like a bit of meat, Ian?
I eat meat all the time.
What's your... Give me some recommendations for meat.
We've already had one of the best, which is a steak.
Oh,
you can't beat a steak.
Man, it was incredible.
Do you like curry? Go and have a lamb curry. That is top dog as well.
It could be top dog, depending on some of the places you go to.
You never know.
So you like a bit of meat. Are you prepared until the end of next week to be a vegetarian?
Well, I didn't give anything up for Lent, so I think I should do, yeah.
All right, listen, what we need evidence, okay? So we need to speak to you regularly so we can smell your breath on the air. Also, you're on Twitter, are you?
I am, yeah.
What? Right, hang on a minute. Let me just get you up. What's your Twitter name?
I'm not sure, but I think it's at Gray 1987.
Gray?
Yeah, Gray.
Gray 1987?
Yeah, I think.
You're a Japanese fella, are you?
I'm not Japanese, no.
It's come up with some Japanese writing.
But that's not me. I'll have to tweet you later.
Yeah, let me have a look. Maybe it's Gray with my computer's with an E.
It should be Gray, or it might be Gray.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I can't remember.
Man, meat is ruining your brain.
It is.
Right, listen, tweet us. We're going to follow you. What we need you to do, I need a photo of every meal you have, mate, just to make sure you're not eating meat.
Right, we'll do.
Can you tweet a photo of every meal for the next 10 days?
Yeah.
You're a good sport. Thank you very much indeed. We got ourselves a convoy. 08459 455 555. I like the parks. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots on the show this morning. If I were you, I'd give us a call now because it's going to get very, very busy. We'll be talking to the widow, fighting for time to bear her late husband's children. Bedford hospital bosses are fighting for time to save services. And Sheila's fighting litterbugs. Who's Sheila? Find out soon. Other bits and pieces we're talking about. Furs in the papers. I want to send Justin Dealey out to talk about fur later on. Would you ever wear fur? It's making a comeback. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or give me a call, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, there's a story in one of the papers. I'm just trying to find it. I think it was it The Express, Catherine?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Are you doing a voice?
No, it's my own voice.
Where was that story about fur?
I don't know, you were going on about it.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry, you were mentioning it.
For goodness sake, I can't find it now. You should take notes when I speak in the office upstairs, because what I say is...
Oh, I take certain notes on certain things, you say. For the tribunal.
Oh, you're such... I nearly swore them. Isn't that funny? I nearly
another
swore...
one. Yeah, there's another one.
Fur flies over McQueen show. I do wish that director, Steve McQueen, would change his name. I get excited every time I hear about a new Steve McQueen film, and then it's just him. Oh, 12
it's a different McQueen, though, isn't it?
What?
It's not.
This is a different McQueen, but just allow me 1 second. 12 Years a Slave. I'm sure it's very worthy. I ain't never going to see it.
Oh.
No, I ain't never going to see it.
You should.
No. Anyway, it's a different McQueen. Fur flies over McQueen show. If it had become a fashion no-no in recent years, it's certainly back with a vengeance now. Alexander McQueen. His wildly romantic fairy tale-inspired show in Paris may have had couture?
Yes.
Fans under a spell, but was always bound to rub animal lovers up the wrong way. Hand-cut pom-poms to hooded gilets. Gilets?
Yes.
The fashion house's latest collection...
It's a body warmer.
Oh, I used to love a body warmer. Was almost entirely made up of fur. And fur's been worn by Kate Moss and Pop-Tart Rihanna. Would you ever wear fur, Catherine?
No, but I have.
When?
When I was a kid, I would say about 17, 18, my mum had this coat from the 70s. It was like a 3/4 length leather coat.
Yeah.
Really sort of tight around the top. It was really nice. Had a rabbit fur collar.
Did you feel any guilt or any shame? Did you ever have paint poured over you by animal rights?
No, because it was so ratty. It looked like a pretend one. But I don't like the idea of it now. I certainly wouldn't do it now.
Let's put it out there. Would you ever wear fur? 08459 455 555. A Newport Pagnell lady's legal fight for time to save her late husband's children could be decided today. Warren Brewer had a sample of his sperm frozen before undergoing treatment for cancer in 2005. Well, the current rules dictate that samples can only be stored for 10 years. Unless Beth Warren can convince the High Court of her husband's wishes, she has until next April to get pregnant, and she's not ready to start a family. Beth joins me on the line. Morning, Beth.
Good morning.
Nice to speak to you again. Just remind us, when did Warren pass away?
Warren passed away, it was February 2012, so just over 2 years ago.
And I would imagine, of course it is, it must still be very painful for you.
It is. It's really difficult to deal with. I also lost my brother 2 months before my husband, so it was a double blow of trying to deal with two losses.
So you've had a real rough ride of things, and what exactly is it that you're fighting for, and what's going to happen today?
So what happened after my husband died, I was told, it was a month to the day that he died, that I had 6 weeks to become pregnant. So it's been going on 2 years, this legal battle. And I'm fighting for the choice to become pregnant, which is what my husband wanted at a time when I'm ready, rather than having an imposed time limit, which my husband never set up for me.
And you're at the High Court today.
I am, yes.
Will that decision... Listen, I bet you are, and I really appreciate you coming on this morning. It must be a very tense time. Will that decision get made... Will you walk out with a yes or no answer today?
Yes, that's right. The judgment's going to be handed down by Mrs. Justice Holg at about 2 o'clock.
Oh, gosh.
So I will definitely know. I had no idea at the moment, so I'm so nervous.
How have you got through the last couple of days and this morning in particular?
I've got an amazing best friend called Sam. She's with me through all the terrible times, all the great times. But yeah, just in general, a lot of crying, a lot of talking to friends and family, and just reminding myself that it's all worth doing, it's worth the fight. And you're not totally sure that you want to have children using Warren's sperm, are you? You're more campaigning for the chance to have more time to make up your mind. That's right. I totally understand that the future, will change. I didn't expect that I was going to lose my husband, all that time ago when we were together. I didn't expect I'd lose my brother. And I do know that things change, and whether it's never the right decision, that might be the case. But I can't be forced into doing it now when I know I'm not ready. And this could all come down basically to the kind of the paperwork that Warren did or didn't sign. It is, yes. So Warren signed every single piece of paperwork he was ever given over 7 years. He also phoned at the clinic a few months before he died, asking if everything was in place in the event of his death. But it all comes down to the HFEA, that's a Human Fertilisation and Embryology Authority, a bit of a mouthful. It's all their legislation which governs what consent is needed in what format, and we were just never given the choice and never told, obviously, that this would be a problem. When you came on before, Beth, we kind of sort of mentioned this, we touched on this. Do you think that campaigning for this and all the legal battles you're going through is helping you move on in your life, or do you think it's kind of slowing down the grieving process? I think it's certainly not helping me move on, because everything's so tied up together from when I lost my brother, my husband, and now this. I want to be putting this to the past and moving on to the future and building a new future. And when you're fighting for the past, it's really difficult to do that.
And what, this will be the last uncomfortable question, I promise. What would you say to people who might argue that it's not the natural way of things to have the baby of a partner who died several years ago? It's not right. What would you say to them?
Well, of course, it's difficult, and I think if I wasn't in this situation, I couldn't understand it. But when you love someone and you made plans to spend the rest of your life with them, and you made plans to have children, but you also made plans of what would happen if one of you wasn't around, it's something that we discussed. And ultimately, if he wasn't happy, I would never be fighting for this. But he was, and I know it's not ideal. That child wouldn't have their father, but so many children don't have great upbringings with parents that aren't very supportive, choose not to be around, and that child will be in a very supportive family with a lot of photos, memories, stories of their dad.
And also, this decision will, of course, affect you, but it could potentially affect other people in similar situations, couldn't it? It's going to be a groundbreaking decision.
Yeah, it certainly will. It'll set a legal precedent either way, and I'm really confident that whether I win or lose, it will certainly change the situation in the future for every other widow or widower in the UK, so that no one else has to go through this situation.
If you lose, Beth, is there anywhere else you can go? Can you take this further?
Yes, I can. If I lose, I can appeal through the High Court and then appeal through the European Court of Justice.
And you'll do that, will you?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I really feel like I'm running out of fight now. It's been 2 years of cancer, 2 years of this, but it's at the same time, it's not a battle you give up. If you want something enough, you keep on fighting. Ultimately, it's going to come down to what the judge says, what the judgment is. We're going to read through it and then decide from there.
OK, so 2:00 today.
Yes.
I wish you the very best of luck. If you feel up to it, and listen, I understand it's going to be very emotional, but if you feel up to it, I'd love to talk to you tomorrow. But let's see how things go, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Beth, thank you very much indeed. Oh, dearie me. What do you make of that? Well, I can't even begin to imagine how she's getting through this. It must be so tense. It must be so tense and awkward. I'd love to get your thoughts on this one. 08459 455 555. She sounds like a very sensible, very rational person who has been through a lot. Lost her husband and her brother within the space of a couple of months, a couple of years ago. What do you make of it, though? Not Beth's case specifically. Let's let her get through her traumatic day in peace, shall we? But the concept, there are other stories, aren't there? Was it Diane Blood? Is that the name of the other person who went through this? The concept, the general idea of a widow having her dead husband's child several years after the husband's passed away. So it's not she was pregnant when he died, but several years using frozen sperm. What do you make of that? 08459 455 555. Trevor's in Aylesbury. Morning, Trevor.
Morning, Ian. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. What do you make of the... And I don't want to talk specifically about Beth, because, she's obviously in a painful place. But the general idea of it, Trevor, what do you make of it?
Well, obviously, like I say, with this case, he's done it for a reason. And I can't see a problem with it, really, as long as it was all agreed beforehand.
Does none of you think it's odd, Trevor, that 2, 3, 4, 5 years after someone has died, the partner has a child or 2 children with that dead partner's sperm? Sorry for having your breakfast, by the way. And then you've got to explain that to the kids. Oh, yeah, your dad died. Did I ever meet him? No, he died 5 years before you were born.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the hardest bit, I think. But everything else of it is fine. I mean, that's the wonders of science, isn't it? Advancing technology, things we can do nowadays.
Trevor, I'm going to let you go because the line's not great. I believe you're enjoying a nice bacon bap. Good on you, son. Well done. I may be having one a little bit later on. My first bacon in 25 years will be happening later on this morning. What do you think of it? What do you think of what Beth had to say? What do you think of the concept in general? It's interesting, isn't it? Because when we talked about gay adoption the other day, we had lots of people phoning up saying it's not natural. It's not natural for 2 men, 2 women to adopt a child. It could be argued that this is less natural in the truest sense of the word, because it's taken a heck of a lot of science to make those babies. 08459 455 555, using the sperm of a dead man to father children. What do you reckon? Now, listen, I was going to keep this private, but I've let it slip, OK? After 25 years of vegetarian, I had steak at the weekend, homemade burgers on Tuesday, I'm trying lamb on Saturday, I'm having a bacon sandwich later on. I'm having 2 weeks of eating meat, and then I'm going to decide. I enjoy the meat, I still struggle with the ethics of it, putting a bolt through an animal's head. But to counterbalance my entree into the meat world, we found a meat eater who's going to become vegetarian. Okay, his name's Iain Gray. If you want to follow him, he's on Twitter. We've got his Twitter account now. It's at 1987_Iain IAN. So nothing like what he said, Gray 1980. At 1987_IAN. He's going to post pictures of his vegetarian meals. And he's just posted a brilliant picture of a sausage. His sausage sandwich is tossed on the floor. So he's in. He's going to be the vegetarian for the next couple of weeks while I'm a meat eater. So do follow him and send him your support. At 1987_Iain. He's a good lad. Let's see what happens. Now, plans to partly privatise Bedford Hospital's musculoskeletal services have hit another stumbling block. A consortium of private companies and NHS bodies had been due to take over procedures like hip and knee replacements last October. Well, that date was shifted to April the 1st, and now hospital bosses say they haven't got the necessary information to sign the contract, so it won't be happening then either. Well, the Hospital Trust has previously told us that this contract could spell the beginning of the end for Bedford, with services being lost one by one. So are they just dragging their feet? We'll ask their medical director, Ed Neal, in a moment, but first let's hear from Dr Alvin Lowe. He's a GP in Biggleswade and a member of Bedfordshire's Clinical Commissioning Group. Good morning, Alvin. What do you think's happening here?
Good morning, Ian. We very much want Bedford Hospital to work with us, and we very much want the best services for our patients. This is a very complicated type of contract. It's quite new and quite innovative, and we want to work with them. Clearly, it is very complicated from their point of view, and I think we just want to make sure that we are entirely happy that everything is if you like, correctly lined up.
Well, it didn't happen in October. It's not going to happen in April, we've discovered. Is it ever going to happen?
Yes, it will happen.
When?
So the contract is at the governing body, which is the board of the BCCG. Yesterday, we agreed that the contract should be signed. So the majority of services will be delivered as of 1st of April. Bedford Hospital, we hope, will join at a later date.
So Bedford Hospital will still be providing those services themselves. You say you hope they join at a later date.
Yes, there is a working group that's been convened, which brings together ourselves, Bedford Hospital, as well as Circle, who are the organisation who are managing the contracts on our behalf. And there's a working group which we hope will bear fruit in the next few months. You don't sound particularly confident that this is definitely going to go through. I think that it is quite a challenging concept, and I think that it is. I think it is very important that we get everything correct, and I think I fully sympathise with Bedford Hospital because this is something new for them. So no, I'm confident. I think that it is difficult at the moment to predict what the timescales might be, given that the working group has only just begun its work. But I'm confident it will come together.
Bedford Hospital NHS Trust has been asking for the finer details of the contract and its service provision to be made clear for quite a while. Why hasn't the Trust been given the information and reassurance it needs?
I think that the Trust... I think that there has been information provided to the Trust.
They've not had all the information that they've asked for, have they?
To the best of my knowledge, they have had as much as we are able to provide. Clearly, there are, if you like, technical contractual documents which they perhaps have not received yet. But I know we're working as hard as we can to make sure they have everything they need to be fully informed.
When do you think they'll have everything they need to be fully informed?
Sorry?
When do you think they will have everything they need?
My understanding is that our colleagues are working with them at the moment to make sure they have everything they need. So in the immediate future would be my feeling.
The Trust is worried that this could be the beginning of the end for Bedford Hospital.
I don't see that this is, I don't see that this initiative is seeking to do that. We very much value Bedford Hospital.
Oh, it's not seeking to do it. I don't think I would argue it's seeking to do it, but you understand that if one service gets removed, then that could put pressure on others to be removed until eventually there's no hospital.
Yes. We aren't seeking to remove the service from Bedford Hospital. Bedford Hospital provide musculoskeletal services for our patients, and we very much want Bedford Hospital to continue to provide musculoskeletal services for our patients. What this contract is doing is managing those services in a different way, whereby the organisation Circle manages the contract for Bedford with Bedford Hospital on our behalf, as they will do with other hospitals which provide services for our patients, such as Luton and Dunstable, Eastern North Hertfordshire Trust, etc.
Dr. Alvin Lowe, thank you very much indeed. GP in Biggleswade, member of Bedfordshire's Clinical Commissioning Group. Well, listening to that is Ed Neal, Medical Director at Bedford Hospital. Morning, Ed. What did you make of what Alvin had to say?
Good morning. Well, it's very interesting, and I think that the real crux of this issue is that we mustn't get confused over the fact that there are two contracts being discussed, and I think a lot of people probably think that there's only one contract. The CCG, Bedfordshire CCG, commissioning with Circle and signing a contract with Circle to provide all the musculoskeletal services on behalf of the CCG. Our concern is that we will be asked to sign a contract with Circle to provide some of those services. And what we don't know is exactly what Circle will be asking us for, and more importantly, what they won't be asking us for, and whether that will have any impact on patients or on staff.
Are you stalling for time, Ed?
Not at all, not at all. I mean, this whole process was begun by the CCG almost a year ago now, and although we were not the preferred bidder when that was announced in August, through the autumn we have had a number of meetings, but have also made a number of requests to both Circle and the CCG for the fine detail which will give us the reassurance that we need that this is going to not have a significant impact either on the patients of Bedfordshire, the staff of Bedford Hospital, or the other services that we provide, because the hospitals are very complex organisations, and what we don't want to create is a house of cards. We want to make sure that the hospital maintains good foundations.
And explain that to me. I did mention that to Alvin, that there are fears that this could have a domino effect, which could lead to a much reduced, if not closed, Bedford Hospital. How would that work?
Well, this contract is for the elective services, planned care. If you have a sore hip, say, to get your hip replaced, it is not for the emergency services. If you fall over and break your hip, you will need exactly the same, pretty much the same operation, but we will deal with you as an emergency. Bedford Hospital is going to be continued to ask to deal with the emergencies. Our concern is that if we don't have the planned work coming through, the way the NHS is financed, we don't know whether we will have sufficient money to provide the emergency service. If the therapy services, physiotherapy and so on, if we lose sufficient staff because the Circle company or Horizon, the GP company, want to employ them, then that might have an impact on the number of staff we have to deal with emergencies. If we don't have specific areas that we can offer training for to our junior doctors, then there is a risk of losing training, as we saw last summer with paediatrics. And all of these things we just want reassurance on, and the fine detail in writing, so that we can say, yes, this is the way forwards. We're quite supportive, totally supportive, of innovative ways of treating patients. We don't have a problem with that at all. In fact, we quite encourage it. And we encourage our consultants in all specialties to look for innovative ways. What we want to do is just to make sure that patients are safe now and for the future in the model that is proposed.
Ed, thank you very much. I'm just going to let Dr. Alvin Lowe come back and respond to any of those points. Alvin, any response?
Thank you very much. Yes, I think I just wanted to make it clear that patient choice must prevail in whatever system we have. So, and therefore, if patients choose to go to Bedford Hospital to have their hip or knee replacements, as I suggested, the elective care, then patients will still be able to, irrespective of whatever contracts are signed. This is a very important principle, and we must always support patient choice. And so, so I don't see that there should be a problem with elective surgery going on at Bedford Hospital.
Gentlemen, we're going to end it there. Thank you very much. Last voice you heard was Dr. Alvin Lowe, GP in Biggleswade, member of Bedfordshire's Clinical Commissioning Group, and the other voice was Medical Director of Bedford Hospital, Ed Neal.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's two kind of sort of animal rights-ish stories in the newspapers today.
Yeah.
And they're both quite interesting, but and maybe I'm more interested because I am wolfing down the meat for the first time in 25... Honestly, people say, vegetarianism makes you lethargic and makes you, insipid and sleepy and depressed. I've never bought into that argument until the day after I had the steak, and it was like I'd taken some kind of drug or something. I could see colours brightly. I remember driving into work. This is insane. I remember driving into work on Monday, the day after the steak, thinking, do you know what? There are no such things as bad decisions. I can't make a bad decision. Every decision I make will be a good decision.
You sound like Gordon Gekko.
I know, it's mental, isn't it? It's absolutely mental. So this is maybe I'm slightly more interested in these things at the moment. There's a story in one of the papers. Again, I've lost it. What's going on with these newspapers? They keep hiding the stories from me. Anyway, basically, fur is making a comeback. There is a fashion show where fur is coming back, and Rihanna is a big fan of fur. Kate Moss is a big fan of fur. And I just... remember there was the late 90s? Yeah. I'd rather go nude than...
Rather go naked than wear fur.
Wow, what a great poster that was,
and
guys.
a lot of famous women did.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And there was you'd hear stories of people having paint poured over them if they wore fur. Has that all gone? Even if you wore fake fur, you kind of got the paint on you.
Peter is still putting out some quite... shocking adverts.
Who's Peter?
Peter, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
I thought it was PETA.
I thought it was Peter.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway, those guys.
Those people are still doing that. So they still feel strongly about it. I don't know. You've got people who are otherwise seen as being fairly strong moral role models, like Beyonce. She's been wearing fur and all kinds of sort of endangered species made into trainers and stuff. Kelly Betts, would you ever wear... I can't... You can hear... I'm not flipping through an infinite paper. I'm just going through... I can't find this flipping story anyway. Kelly Betts, would you ever wear fur?
No. There's more information on Facebook if you wanted to have a look.
But I don't know what the Facebook address is.
Oh, it's facebook.com/3CR.
No.
BBC 3CR.
Yeah, that's the one. Here it is. Fur flies over McQueen show. The inspiration is Beauty and the Beast and Wild Romance. But this is Sarah Burton, McQueen designer Sarah Burton, by Swathing.
Yes.
Her models in supersized hooded fur coats. Miss Burton made it clear that fur is back on the fashion agenda.
Didn't Sarah Burton design Kate Middleton's wedding dress?
Yes, she did. The fur industry is fighting back, encouraged by its own crop of famous fur fans, including Kate Moss and pop-tart Rihanna, who just dresses like a prostitute.
Oh.
No, she does. She
sometimes dresses like one.
That makes it better, does it?
There was a picture of her with a suit on the other day, and then they were moaning that her bum bag had a gun on it.
There was a picture. No, she can't win. There was a picture of her in a string vest, no brassiere.
Yeah.
I mean, disgusting.
She does it to entice.
It's not enticing. It's flipping horrible. The fashion blogger Simon Glazin said, "How can you be a fashion blogger? Jeez, go and do something less boring with your life instead." Those are the lyrics to Why Don't You?
Yeah, I remember.
Fashion blogger Simon Glazin said he was appalled by Miss Burton's show. "I gasped out loud when I trawled through the catwalk shots," he said. Huh?
I was doing an impression of a gasp.
Not out of joy, but out of sheer horror at the amount of fur she decided to use. Blog. Question this morning, would you ever wear fur?
And does it matter if it's vintage? Because that's how I conned myself in the early 90s. Because I'd grown up with all that body shop stuff and friends falling into vegetarianism through vague, they wanted to do something different, a bit like you. But then I thought, oh, it's my mum's. It's from the 70s. It's already dead. I might as well wear it.
And yet this morning...
but I wouldn't wear it now.
This morning you're wearing leather hot pants, so...
Yeah, but we've eaten those.
And a string vest with no brassiere.
No string was harmed in making this better. No, but, you know, with leather it's different because we do use other parts of the animal.
Okay.
With a mink or something like that, I don't think you can eat a mink.
I've always wanted to make a fascinator out of a zebra's hoof.
What?
It'd look good, wouldn't it? The other meat story, animal stories, in the front page of Times, stop ritual slaughter of animals, said top vet. Now, I know lots of Muslims and Jews listening to this. Basically, the top vet, there's a top vet, and to get there, you have to fight all of the other vets. It's the last vet standing.
It's like Highlander.
Exactly. I've never seen it, but I'm going to say...
It's really good. It's rubbish, but it's really good.
John Blackwell, who beat all the other vets in a fight to become the top vet in this country, says that halal and kosher meat, where they hang it upside down and slit its throat, is cruel. And this is kind of a debate that's rumbled on for a while, isn't it? Is whether you should be... I mean, the Western way of killing animals is you stun it so it's unconscious and then wham, you whack a bolt through its head. Sorry, kids, that's where your food comes from. But it could be argued that's more humane than just slitting its throat while it's alive. And then Mr. Blackwell, the vet, goes on to say, we may well have to go down the route of the Danes who've banned it. One of the Jewish politicians said it demonstrates that a continuing undercurrent of anti-Semitism still pervades in Europe. That's very emotive, isn't it? That's the difficulty with engagement. And there is always the worry, oh, halal meat is bad. Oh, you're being anti-Muslim. Kosher meat, the way you do it is bad. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. There is kind of a knee-jerk reaction from various parties sometimes when you start to question the way that their meat is slaughtered. I don't know why do the Jews and Muslims have to do it that way? What's the belief? 08459 455 555. Have you say on that? Yes, Kelly Betts.
Dennis is on the line.
Oh, gosh.
I rang him and said, hi, Dennis, I'm going to put you through, because he rang earlier.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, you always catch me in a compromising position.
Is that true, Dennis?
Oh, I didn't say compromising.
You did.
I was sitting down at the time.
Well, you can still be compromised while sitting down, Dennis, trust me.
Now, just a minute, before we go any further.
I imagined you playing a game of Twister.
No, I really wanted to talk to you, Ian, about your conversion to meat eating.
Okay, I'm going to get rid of these. There's a weird echo on your line. Are you stood next to, like, an echoey thing? Are you stood next to a ravine?
I've turned the sound up so I can hear your beautiful voice.
Are you on speakerphone?
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, I suppose I am, yes. All right. Well, I can go to the toilet and still talk to you.
No, okay. Well, this is why we work. What do you mean you didn't know if you're on speakerphone or not? This is why your phone calls are always echoey. Are you always on speakerphone?
Don't forget I'm an old man and I've only just learned to switch the light on.
Pick up the phone, you lazy so-and-so, and talk to me.
Yes, I'm talking to you right now.
And look, it's not... Oh, it's echoing a little bit. Your phone's rubbish. Go on, what do you want to say?
Well, I wanted to say to you, when you were eating all this vegetation, did you have something put in there to make it taste like meat?
Occasionally I'd have meat substitutes, but not very often. Occasionally, yes.
See, one thing, I worked in an office with a chap who was a vegetarian like you, and believe you me, it was ghastly. We daren't strike a light in the office, the bloody place would have blown up. It was so full of methane. And do you realise, do you find people are avoiding you when you're on your vegetarian?
I have to say, right, listen, you brought this into the conversation. I'm sorry if you've got young children listening. Be prepared to... that mum, be prepared to take another picture of your kid's face. Since eating meat, and I'm going to use indoor language...
Yes.
Since eating meat, I have been doing the worst blow-offs I've done in a lifetime. I mean, just incredible. I've never heard or smelled anything like it.
Well, I don't understand that because mine are sweet.
I mean, I think we ought to abort this conversation now. You're right, Cass. Are you crying because that's the end of your producing career? It's true.
Very rarely you say something that puts her head in her hands.
It's absolutely true. Honestly, I
think you've already said it.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Justin, just really meaty trumps.
I know what you're talking about, boss. I know what you're talking about. want to try my steak and gorgonzola sauce.
I think you sent Kelly a video of that once, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I did, actually. Yeah.
Now,
yes.
Thameslink...
Come on. Control yourself, boy.
Now, this is serious stuff, Justin. Please, focus, will you?
I will.
Thameslink's performance. Thameslink's performance is going to be reviewed by St Albans City and District Council on the day they show off their new rolling stock in Luton. Whoop-de-doo. It's also the day after overhead line problems caused heavy delays for commuters. So we thought we'd let the commuters review Thameslink's performance themselves, didn't we, Just?
Yeah, have I told you about my chicken curry?
No.
But, no, yes. I have been talking to commuters this morning at Luton train station. We often hear, Ian, don't we, about long delays they have to suffer. So I've been down to the station this morning to kind of review the service, to find out what they're saying about their journey to and from London. And I started off by asking commuters about the longest delays they've had to suffer.
About 4 hours, 5 hours. I mean, sometimes you have to come back early from work because, you know, there's no other way of getting back. I've got buses, coaches back, I've got trains to Hitchin. In terms of letting us know as well, there's not much of it. I mean, I've sat in the train for over an hour and a half at one point, and not one person has told us exactly what's happening.
So no announcements on the train, no nothing?
No, absolutely not, no. I can't say it's always been bad, but the times it has been bad, it's been really, really bad.
When it works okay, it's fine, but when it goes wrong, it tends to go badly wrong. My biggest gripe with it as well is not only that it goes wrong, but there's no information. I can be stood at London Bridge Station for half an hour waiting for a train, never finding out why I'm waiting for a train, and then it'll just turn up. No apology. They seem to be very good at running trains that manage to be just under half an hour late, so they don't have to pay any compensation. But that's just me being cynical, I think.
Well, so you're somebody travelling to London, using this service, 5 days a week. Is it really that bad here?
My honest opinion, it's not, no. There's times when trains are late. Unfortunately, these things happen, is my view on it. There's other ways of getting into London. Get on the bus if it's the end of the world. That's my honest view on it, yeah.
So when you're sitting on the train, are you hearing people every single day moaning about the service?
In the morning, you struggle to get a smile out of people, let alone a word. So, no one's ever moaning. There's a lot of grunting and groaning on the central platform, but other than that, no, it's okay, I think.
Sounds lovely. Well, listen, enjoy that happy journey into work.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
The service here, people are making it out to be absolutely dreadful, some people. Is it really that bad?
I don't think so. Exceptional. I've been travelling for the last 25 years, and there's actually been 2 catastrophic days, but they're weather-related. So
2 days in 25 years, and you're travelling 5 days a week?
That's correct.
Wow, it's incredible. So if you were sitting in front of the bosses right now, what would be your main point? What would you like to improve about the service?
I think the cost. I've been working in the city for 25 years, but anyone starting out, and I don't think for a person starting on their first job can actually afford the salary.
It's too much. So how much are you paying every year to travel to and from London?
Approximately 4,000 plus. In fact, it's got to the point where I was suggesting last week to somebody as a joke that maybe I should start a small taxi service. You can actually make it affordable. I can start running a minicab service from here.
Yeah.
Get some people carriers.
Watch this space. You're clearly a businessman. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living?
Investment analyst.
Yeah. I would suggest he doesn't open with that one if he's going to do a stand-up set. But mixed response.
Absolutely. I mean, we often hear, don't we, these horrible stories about people stuck in London, they can't get home, delays on the trains. We had delays yesterday on the service as well. But I think, on the whole, a lot of people there saying, well, yes, 9 times out of 10, when I get down to the train station, I can get to and from work okay, but when it goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong, and information certainly lacking.
Just where are you off to next?
Well, I can do one or two things for you. Talking about fur this morning, 2 topical stories. Would you ever wear fur? Or I can talk about halal meat and ask people, is it cruel? It's entirely up to you.
Let's go to the producer, Catherine Boyle. Producer Catherine Boyle, do you want Justin to do fur or halal?
Yeah.
I reckon go for fur. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, go for the fur one. Let's see how we get with that. Justin, speak to you later on. Excellent stuff as always. So we've been talking about Beth Warren, who is going to the High Court today for the right to keep her dead husband's sperm for longer. He died a couple of years ago, just under a couple of years ago. She's got his sperm, but she only has until April to decide whether she can use it or not. So she wants to change that. She's got a bit longer. What do you think about that in general? Anne's in St Albans. Morning, Anne.
Hello, Ian.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I feel very, very sorry for her because it's a relatively recent loss. And I get the feeling that the battle has taken over from the grieving and that she actually feels she's not ready because she hasn't grieved yet, and I probably agree with her on that. I think we've already established the moral argument years ago when they started allowing these techniques to be used. So I think the moral argument on her part's out of the window.
Well, the techniques were used to impregnate women when their husbands were still alive.
Yeah.
Doing it for someone who's passed away, it leaves me scratching my head a little bit as to exactly what the ethics around that are.
Well, yes, I know. It's a very hard thing.
Is it fair on the children?
Probably not. But there again, we can't judge that. She could meet somebody absolutely perfect in a few years' time and start a new family herself. And I hope that she's able to find the happiness and do that.
But then, if she meets, we're talking about her hypothetically. If she meets someone else and she has children from her first husband, her deceased husband. That may not be fair on the children. It may also not be fair on the new partner she finds.
I can understand that point of view, but I really do think that we are not in a moral place to be able to say what's right for that particular lady. I couldn't do it, but I'd already completed my family, so that's a totally different ballgame. But I feel that she hasn't yet had time to grieve, as would anybody in her circumstance, and that this deadline is unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world if she can't do it.
So she, are you arguing that she should get more time? The High Court should rule that she has more time to make this decision?
I would prefer to think that, yes, because otherwise she's going to feel terribly cheated, and it's going to be piling agony upon agony.
And you're right, it's still a recent loss for her, and she sounds like she struggled with her husband and her brother dying very close together. I can't imagine what it must be like to lose someone you think is going to be with you forever, your life partner.
Yes, I know, and this is the whole thing. Trying to hang onto the past is a mistake, and I think she's very wise to actually say, what are my motives for doing this? This is why I need time. And it might well be that in a few months or a couple of years' time, the grieving process has taken over and it's gone through, and she'll look at the same problem, but she'll look at it from a totally different perspective. But I do think she needs to have the time given to her.
Off a complete tangent, Anne, would you ever wear fur?
Yes, I would.
Why?
Well, A, to keep warm.
Yeah.
I don't really have a moral objection to using fur. We use meat, we have our animals, we farm them, and I think that if you use fur, it should be properly farmed, properly regulated, but as on the basis of need to use it, rather than the basis of decorating models' backs with it. We need to produce fur for living in cold countries. We occasionally get that sort of weather, but the wholesale fur farming for fashion, I do not agree with at all.
And thank you very much indeed. It's an interest. I worked in Montreal in Canada once. It's where Angelina Jolie kissed me and said she thought I was funny, and they're flipping freezing, and they're all in furs over there. And I kind of said to someone, do you not have the anti-fur lobby here? They said, well, no, of course we don't. We need, it may have changed, I mean, this was years ago. We need the fur to keep warm. And I guess if you're killing animals for food, what's the difference of killing animals for clothes? 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Now, Sheila in St Albans has called in. You've got an idea. What have you got for us, Sheila?
Well, you have the Prettiest Village competitions and things like that.
They're nice, yes.
Yeah. Well, I wondered about having the worst litter area.
Oh, go on.
Come off the M25 coming from Enfield, so it's junction 22.
Yes, I know that junction very well, yes.
Yes, as you come off and you sit there waiting at the roundabout, you look to your right, you'll see loads of litter. It's awful. On the other hand, if you go on the 414 through Hatfield as if you're going to Hertford and you come to the Tesco's area, if you look to your right, there are bags and all sorts of things. It looks a little bit like if you've gone up to the mountains where those prayer villages are, those little prayer flags, Tibetan prayer flags.
Oh, and there's a load of litter around it.
Yeah, and there's all these bits of plastic sort of in the hedgerow.
I went to when we went to Japan years ago. We went to this wonderful island whose name escapes me, and we climbed all the way up to the top of this mountain. It wasn't like rock climbing, but we climbed all the way up, and it was really hot. It was awesome. It was beautiful, and there was a couple of plastic bottles there. And I was like, we can't leave these there. We'll take these. And then I couldn't find anywhere to get rid of them. There were no bins. And every time I went to kind of put them down, some tough Japanese people would give me skunk eye. And as if to say, don't you dare put it in the voice. Don't you dare put it there. And so I ended up carrying these bottles all day. Felt terribly responsible. But you're right, there are some awful little verges and Shall we start a little phone-in campaign, Sheila?
Yes, I think so. I mean, maybe we can get the worst area and
bomb it.
Maybe somebody from the council might... I have to say, yes. I am quite ashamed of when I've sat there and looked at it. And Tesco's, the Tesco's one, it must be all their bags blow across. Yeah. And this isn't just happened today, it's happened many a time.
Do you never feel like going and picking up yourself?
I do, but there must be plenty of areas where they can get it organised for people to do it or whatever. But I must admit, I travelled on the A414 quite regularly when I was working, and very often what they do is they cut the grass, and then you'd see all this litter.
Yeah.
And that would be there for ages, and I had a word with the council, and eventually they turned around and they said, well, we've now got it sorted, we've now got them cutting the grass and then picking the litter up straight away, because I said I'd rather see the grass longer.
It seems pretty obvious, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I just feel slightly ashamed, I'm afraid.
We need more criminals. Because they send criminals out at community service.
Yeah.
You'll often see them in their fluorescent jackets going and picking up the litter. We need more of that.
Yes, we do.
Kelly?
Or we just need more... take more pride in our community and pick it up ourselves.
Or don't even throw it out of the car window.
Oh, exactly, that's it.
Yeah, because it's only people in cars who would be able to do that. There'd be nobody walking on the M25, would they? Walking off.
Sheila, can we make you the patron saint of our Clean Up Beds, Hearts and Bucks campaign?
Definitely.
You're right, Sheila. We'll speak to you again. Thank you very much for that. Excellent point, well made. I've got no idea who that is over there. You, Kelly Betts. What did you say?
When?
People need to take more pride in their communities.
Yes, they do, and pick up their... And
I agree.
In the first place, or pick up other people's if they're really that upset.
Catherine,
I told a schoolgirl off the other day. I didn't tell her off. I
tough guy, huh?
I charmed her.
Tough guy.
She was showing off. She was showing off some boys.
Stop it!
And in the midst of showing off, she dropped her sandwich wrapper on the floor.
What was she showing off exactly?
She was just swanking.
And you told her off for that?
She was doing that kind of, she was standing there, one leg slightly bent, doing that whole, yeah. Anyway, so she dropped it and I said, excuse me, sorry, I think you've dropped something. And she went, okay. And then I heard laughter as I walked away, but I didn't care.
Okay, would you have done it to a 26-year-old hoodie?
Yeah. I'm quite brave when I've got my kids with me because I've got mum power.
Oh, so you've got your kids involved with a potential knife fight with a thug.
And I give them a winning smile, and I don't...
You're from the north. You're hard.
I just try to be, I just try to be sweet about it.
We need a name and indeed a shame and indeed a photographic frame. We want to find the dirtiest, grubbiest bits of Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
It's got to be verges, though.
It's got to be verges. It's got to be.
We call it Virgin on the Ridiculous?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No.
Call me now.
No.
Oh, wait, 455.
No.
455 555.
No.
We need pictures.
Yeah, we need evidence.
This is what I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying.
No, I just said
guys.
It. We need photographs. We need
pictures of them. Yes.
We need to make a wall of shame.
Yeah, we need to get some photos.
By me asking for people to send in pictures of dirty verges, Am I disappearing up Wally Webb's?
No.
No, it's not too parochial. With BBC Radio Sussex.
We need to give it a snappy title, don't we?
We need some photos.
Right, let's find some dirty verges. Take some photos, please. It's got a slogan.
Where do they send them, Ian? They
send them to ian.lee@bbc.co.uk or 3cr at bbc.letshaveitnow.gmail.com.
Or tweet us.
Yeah, why not? Whatever. It's not going to work, is it?
Yes, it is. Call me now. 489
I've got it. I know what we're going to call it.
Right.
We're going to call... This is excellent. So, we want pictures of your dirty verges. You can Facebook us. You can tweet us. We're going to start a campaign and we're going to call it Virgin on the Ridiculous.
Great idea.
Yeah, you like it, guys?
Yeah.
Kath, you like?
Am I invisible?
You like?
Who?
So, Virgin on the Ridiculous. It's a new feature here. We want pictures of your dirty verges. Send them in to us. Post them on Facebook. Let's clean up these 3 counties. Yeah! We've had a text from Steve. Somebody keeps filling water bottles with apple juice and dumping it by the M1 Junction 11. What's all that about? I wouldn't drink the apple juice, Steve. I'm not going to tell him, but just do not touch the apple juice. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. This morning we're talking to the widow, talking about the widow fighting for time to bear her late husband's children. Bedford hospital bosses are fighting for time to save services, and people are fighting people who fight for the right to party and wear fur whilst they're... Would you wear fur? What about it? Yeah, but why are you having a conversation with me off air? They can't hear you. I don't feel like saying it. I don't want to. Yeah, I know. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Facebook.com/BBC3CR, and send us your pictures of your dirty verges.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's Virgin on the Ridiculous. It's a great campaign name, what I came up with. I'm a fast thinker.
It's not how I remember that panning out.
I think it's a great feature name. Well done.
Thank you, Kelly. Sometimes you've just got to, when the pressure's on, you've just got to rise to the challenge, and I really did that there.
Yeah, credit where credit's due.
Exactly, Catherine. You're absolutely right. Now, a Newport Pagnell woman will find out later whether she'll be allowed more time to bear her late husband's children. It's an important part of the story, otherwise it's a completely different story altogether. Warren Brewer had a sample of his sperm frozen before undergoing treatment for cancer. Sadly, he didn't survive, but his widow, Beth, thought his wishes for her to use the sample in her own time had been made clear. Well, it turns out that the paperwork suggests something otherwise. We can talk now to Beth's solicitor, James Lawford Davis, who's a partner at Lawford Davies Danoon Solicitors. Morning, James.
Good morning.
Remind us exactly what's at stake for Beth here.
Well, she has asked the High Court to issue a declaration that would allow her late husband's sperm to remain in storage for longer than it's currently allowed to be kept. So at the moment, the paperwork allows it to be kept until spring next year, but she would like more time than that, so we've asked for a further extension for a longer period to allow her to decide what to do.
Why is she not allowed to do that at the moment? Why does she have to go to court about this?
Because the last forms that Warren filled in before he died didn't explicitly consent to storage for beyond 10 years, and because there wasn't a written medical opinion before he died saying that his fertility would be adversely affected by the treatment that he was receiving.
So she's at the High Court today. The decision's being passed down at 2 o'clock, I believe.
That's right.
What can happen? They either say yes or no, basically.
I think so, yes. It's always difficult to predict what judges will say in detail, but either the judge will be convinced by the arguments that we put forward in court last month, or the sperm will have to be destroyed next spring.
If she loses today, what other options are open to her?
Well, it may be possible for us to appeal against the decision. So this is a decision of the family court in the High Court of Justice in London, and we could possibly take the case to the Court of Appeal. Another option would be for her to apply to the regulator for permission to take the sperm outside the UK for treatment elsewhere. But there are only a limited range of options in terms of the countries where Beth could go for treatment, and she's very reluctant to do that unless she absolutely has to.
Will this ruling have implications for other people? Will the judge say anything about the current legal situation on this issue?
She may do. Again, it's a little difficult to predict, and the facts of this case are very specific, and so I wouldn't want people to think that this does have very broad implications, because Beth's situation is quite unusual, and the forms and the paperwork involved are very specific and particular to Warren's circumstances.
We spoke to Beth this morning, and she sounds very stressed. It must have been a tough time for her, especially building up to today.
It's been extremely tough for her, and I'm amazed at how strong she's been and how she's kept herself together throughout the legal process, because as well as you may have heard from her this morning, as well as losing her husband, she also lost her brother. And to have to deal with that in such close proximity and fight a very complex, stressful legal battle, I think has been really tough.
Any inkling as to how the win's going to go today, James? Do you think that you could win this?
Well, we wouldn't. We've had a brilliant legal team with a QC and 2 other barristers. All of us have been working pro bono on this, and we wouldn't have taken the case this far if we didn't think that there were good prospects of success. But it really is impossible to tell which way the judge is going to go, and she certainly didn't give any indication in the hearing last month. So we're just hoping for what we think is the right outcome today.
James, thanks for your time. We'll certainly be watching this with interest. The judgment gets passed out at 2:00 today. And we'll see what happens. That's James Lawford-Davis, a partner at Lawford-Davis Danoon Solicitors. Beth's solicitor.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, yeah, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Shall we have a look at the front page of the newspapers? Yeah, let's do that, yeah. No one says okay, yeah, anymore. Did anyone ever really actually say okay, yeah? So what are they called? Sloane Rangers. Sloane Rangers. Oh, yeah, you're right. Tony Fisher does say it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Guys.
Yeah,
he does, doesn't he? Is he a Sloane Ranger back?
Yeah, he is. He's the closest we got.
Diana was a Sloane Ranger, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what it meant.
They wore loafers. These days they'd wear salmon-coloured jeans.
Oh, for God's... What is that about? The red trousers?
Or mustard.
Oh, jeez. What does yuppie stand for?
Young up-and-coming professional person, isn't it? Something like that.
Well, that would be...
Yeah, it's one of those where they add an extra
bit. Young Pang Boy.
Young up-and-coming.
Which I think is Happy New Year in Chinese. Young Pang Boy.
No, that's not.
That's close. If I were to say that to a Chinese man around, whenever they have New Year, April, Young Pang Boy...
It was last month.
They're crazy, aren't they? I'm not saying 1.6 billion people are crazy, but flipping heck. If I was to say it last month to a Chinese man, Young Peng Kang Poi, he'd go, oh yeah, Happy New Year back to you. He'd get it.
Do you think?
He'd get it. It's close enough to get it. Kelly, you're not Chinese, are you?
No.
Okay, well, the test would be moot on you then. I wouldn't do it.
If you are Chinese, would you like to ring in and set them straight?
Yeah, if we've got any Chinese people listening, I'm very big with the Chinese. The Chinese love me. 08459 455 555, and may I wish you Kompong Chung Boy.
Oh, I'll have some of that.
Oh, now, come on. Shirley's in Milton Keynes. Morning, Shirley.
Good morning, Ian.
What would you like to say to me? Do you speak Chinese?
No way, no.
That's a shame. I'm really looking for a Chinese speaker this morning.
Sorry, can't oblige.
Okay, what can you oblige me with, Shirley?
You were talking about the rubbish.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
dirty verges.
Yes. Well, this is not really a verge that I'm saying about. It's in the Agora car park at Wolverton.
Yeah.
At the back of the trees, there's like a space there between the trees and the church wall.
Yeah.
And people keep throwing their bags of rubbish in there. And when I actually sort of like one day this week walked past there, and there was about at least half a dozen carrier bags full of rubbish, and it's just left there. And I actually saw somebody one day throw their black sack of rubbish full of rubbish.
Oh dear.
In there, and I wasn't going to say anything because, for one thing, I wasn't actually close enough.
No.
But not only that, he was a rather larger man.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I sort of really didn't like the look of him, and I thought, no, I'm not going to say anything.
What are you doing, Shirley, in the gap between the back of the woods and the wall of the church? What are you doing there, smoking or something?
No, I don't smoke.
Going there for a quick fag?
No, it's up by the alley that you go up to go into the church.
Oh, okay, so you get to see it.
Yes, it's very visible.
We talk about litter
disgusting.
It is disgusting. We talk about litter from time to time, and it's one of those things. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I've always hated it. There's never any reason. Just round the corner, well, there's a dirty verge round here. There's a dirty verge here, isn't there, Kath?
There are loads of dirty verges.
As you drive in, what's been deposited by the entrance to the BBC Three Counties car park?
Oh, well, I thought that there was someone who was bringing the indoors out, like Dermot Gavin does in gardens.
There's a sofa and a bed. Can you believe that, Shirley?
I don't disbelieve anything these days. People just, there's no, I mean, when my children were small and we went out for the day, we always brought, if there wasn't any bins, we always brought our rubbish home. Always. Even to the point of bringing dirty nappies home when the children were babies.
And guess who I saw asleep on that sofa outside in the street this morning as I drove in?
Justin
Dealey. Justin Dealey was fast asleep.
Say that.
He had his leather jack pulled over him, and he was Sparko, Shirley.
I guess that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, it's a true story. Shirley, thank you for that. Excellent stuff. I believe you've written a song for my campaign, Verging on the Ridiculous.
It's more of an anthem.
Okay, well, let's have a little bit of it then.
Okay, can we have a bit of echo?
I don't know if it works on you, but try.
Hello.
A one.
Oh, yes.
A one. Two.
Okay, let's do it. Dirty verges, clean for the very last time. Woo! Dirty verges, pick your stuff up, you filthy swine.
They're now choreographing a dance routine to go with that. I mean, jeez. Sounds like a lot of fun. Count me in.
Yes.
I'm contractually obliged to be counted in, but even if I weren't, I would.
Right.
Yes.
Gosh, you've got your shirt done up quite high, haven't you? Is this all part of your...
What's
show a bit more of your chest.
You want some of that?
That's a bit better, yeah. No, not anymore, but no...
See that bad boy?
Lord.
You want to see that? Look, if I just rub it. Yeah? No? That's not working for you?
No.
I'll cover that up.
No.
Okay, right, that's just... No, it worked a little bit, didn't it?
Sure.
You're blushing, and you can't make eye contact.
Yes.
You can't take me to a tribunal for that, I'm afraid, Jonathan. That
right.
doesn't,
It was a really uncomfortable moment then. You just basically got one of your man breasts out in the studio while I'm sitting here.
Yep.
I just came down to talk about my show. And
I thought that's what you were encouraging.
Just exposed yourself to me.
I thought that's what you were encouraging. So I think it's whoever gets in with the complaint to the bosses first wins.
Right.
So you tell me what's going on in your show. I just need to
send an email.
Dear Laura.
Dear Laura.
JVS came to the studio.
Told me to take my clothes off.
Beat you to it.
Right.
What's on the show this morning?
Well, it was something you mentioned actually during your paper review.
Yes.
And it's something that we've spoken about on my programme very recently, but the argument seems to be gaining some momentum and things are moving on. The president of the British Veterinary Association has said if Muslims and Jews don't stop the ritual slaughter of animals, the government should step in and ban it. Strict religious slaughter, halal for Muslims, kosher for Jews, requires that animals are not stunned before their throats are slit. More than 60,000 animals bleed to death in religious abattoirs in Britain every week. And this is the first time the Veterinary Association has called for a ban in this way. Well, from 9 this morning, I want us to discuss this. I know that when we've talked about it previously, people get very, very heated. It's a subject that really does engage with people on both sides of the argument. But do you agree with Britain's top vet that religious slaughter should be banned? 08459 455 555. We'll discuss it on the big phone in at 9.
You know, I've started eating meat after 25 years of vegetarian.
I heard this. I almost feel like I judge you a little bit when you say that.
I bet you do. This is why I've kind of kept it quite under the radar, and I thought today I'm going to come out. I'm doing it for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to make a decision. In what way are you judging me? Negatively, I'd guess.
only because it seems the fact you're doing it for 2 weeks. Surely you're either a vegetarian or you're not. And this idea of kind of trying it for 2 weeks. I mean, why are you trying it?
I'm trying it to see if I like it. It turns out I do like it, and I'm also trying it to see if I can sit comfortably with the reason I go at meat was the ethical thing. Okay, I don't think you should.
But that's the point, isn't it? Have you just forgotten your ethics?
No, not at all. I'm doing it to see if I can sit comfortably with that compromise of my ethics. People are allowed to change and develop and grow and things like that. So I'm going to do it for 2 weeks, and at the end of that, I'm going to contemplate my future. I'm not a vegetarian at this moment. I wouldn't pretend to say that I was, but I'm going to contemplate.
But how do you feel? Because I have a friend who is a vegetarian, and she tried chicken because, largely, I just had to go at her all the time, and in the end she said, I'm going to try chicken. She tried chicken and she cried afterwards. She sat at the table and she cried because she'd eaten a piece of chicken.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Why?
Oh, love, come on. Don't cry.
No?
That animal wasn't murdered. Listen to you, I'm changing my argument. That animal wasn't killed specifically for you. I don't have a good argument for it. I can't particularly justify this transition, but I can't particularly justify it, which is why I need to do it for a controlled period.
Did you feel, though, that you were not healthy then as a vegetarian?
No, I felt healthy, but I have to say, after having the steak on Sunday, the next day, I felt it gave me a boost of iron and protein that I've not had ever. I felt incredible the next day.
Do you feel like a man?
I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight and punch and make love and draw and create and
Is that why
run.
You nearly took your shirt off?
Yes! I had burgers last night.
See, this is the thing. I mean, it's not even as if you're just dipping your toe.
No, I'm going
back into your, burgers,
homemade burgers. I'm not going to go and eat rubbish meat. I'm having lamb on Saturday.
Lamb? I mean, lamb is the cutest of all the animals. That's the one I struggle with, eating lamb.
I'm going to struggle. I can't. And when I'm eating it with my eyes closed and I'm sniffing the plate as well and getting that, because there's a whole, world of sensations that are new to me.
Right.
I'm struggling with it, and it's now, and I wasn't going to put it on Twitter. It's now on Twitter, and I will get a load of abuse from vegetarians and things. But people, I've never been one of those vegetarians that tutted at meat eaters. I never judged meat eaters, and I hope that my brothers and sisters in the vegetarian community, my now distant cousins, will.
They'll hate you.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't.
No, they will.
Yeah, they're an aggressive bunch.
There's probably a lot of vegetarians listening to the programme who hate you now.
Yeah, they switched off to heart. Sorry about that.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. JVS, he'll be on at 9 o'clock. Now, last month we told you how Bedford hospital bosses were concerned that a decision to partly privatise musculoskeletal services could mean they lose other services one by one. They told us it was a real threat to the hospital's future. Well, now we hear the consortium of private companies and NHS bodies, which is supposed to be taking over treatments like hip and knee replacements on April the 1st, hasn't supplied enough information, so the trust won't sign the contract. Well, Ian Thomas is the branch secretary for Unison at Bedford Hospital. Morning, Ian.
Morning.
The trust don't want this to happen, do they? Do you think they're dragging their feet to buy time?
Obviously, for Unison, we've got very serious concerns about the current situation. The contract was signed off, obviously, late summer last year. It's very disturbing to hear that we're still in a position where grassroots staff are still will be unsure of their future employment perspective, and the trust seems to be in a bit of limbo. We need the trust to be open and transparent as much as ever, as soon as possible, with the current update as to how Bedford Hospital sits. We're early March. We're only a few weeks away from the 1st of April, which was the target date for this contract to go in place.
It's not happening now, is it? It's not happening on the April the 1st now. That's been confirmed today.
Yes. So, obviously, we're no further on than we were before. Obviously, Unison and Bedford Hospital commissioned an independent report last year from John Lister, which actually raised this in the report at the time, which obviously is now coming from our perspective, coming to light.
Ian, what are your concerns about the changes, though, that this will bring? Why are you so worried about it?
Because we feel it's the first steps towards potential privatisation within the health service. We want 24/7 healthcare at grassroots level at source. We want to be able to come into Bedford Hospital, as we do now, and be offered the same services. We don't want fragmented or services that for monetary reasons are going to be stripped away, and possibly us as stakeholders, as residents of Bedfordshire, and Bedford particularly, potentially having to look to other trusts to receive that treatment. That's not what we want in this area.
Are jobs safe under the new contract, Ian?
Well, that's obviously a worrying stage as well. Obviously, whenever there's a contract takeover, and especially in the health service, historically, it hasn't been very good. Obviously, staff are worried across the board. Musculoskeletal services in the trust, if they were either reduced or, heaven forbid, removed from the trust, taken away elsewhere, then obviously the trust would not be in the same position viably to offer the same service, which would undoubtedly mean jobs at risk.
These delays that are taking place, are they having an effect on hospital services, do you think? Will patients notice? It's all about the patients ultimately, isn't it?
It's always about the patient. It's always about the patient. And whilst the patients will obviously arrive at Bedford Hospital and receive the best care possible, as they always have and always will do, from the backroom side and as a stakeholder and an employee of this trust, it is worrying in the longer term. But we've got to, as Unison are at the forefront of campaigning, so that this concern is always at the top of the agenda, so that we keep everybody informed, the community, employees, and obviously the expectation that management are transparent and are communicating with us truthfully.
Finally, Ian, what would you like to see happen now?
I would like to see that the transparency of where we are with Circle. So the trust obviously are working hard behind the scenes, you would expect, and some kind of expectation on what's going on, because obviously at the moment Bedford Hospital's position is quite honestly, we feel we're in a precarious position, and there needs to be some reassurance, and that can only come from the top.
Ian, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed. Ian Thomas, Branch Secretary for Unison at Bedford Hospital.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Got some dirty verges. I don't like the way this has changed from verging on the ridiculous to dirty verges.
You started the latter. I brought up verging on the ridiculous, but apparently that wasn't good enough until you said it.
What?
Yeah.
Just to say...
What are you talking about?
I've tweeted the lyrics to our Dirty Verges song. If anybody does... Anthem, sorry. Hit. If anybody does want to see them and then call and join in with the song, they're more than welcome. 459 455 555 at BBC3CR.
You're right, Catherine. It was your suggestion to call it Verging on the Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's really taking off. So I'm going to go with my suggestion to call it Dirty Verges. I think I'm probably going to take Dirty Verges.
Well, you can open that can of worms and I'll stand well back. How about that?
You're producing.
The tweets are already coming in. Have you seen them?
No.
Well, Dirty Verges.
There's not a lot of grass going on, is all I'm saying.
Dirty Verges, a hashtag might work better.
Yeah, okay.
Characters.
Why are you sat back from that? Let me just describe.
Seen the Phil forgetting.
Let me just describe what you did. She pushed herself away 2 foot away from the microphone, crossed her arms, and she's doing a really smug, nodding dog face. Oh, yes. You're like Churchill.
That's my mum face. That's the, go on then, I dare you.
Well, we're calling it Dirty Verges. It's my idea.
His idea. Good luck with that.
She is literally backing away from what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm distancing myself.
Distance yourself from that. Oh, she's gone.
She's hit the wall.
We've got some texts in on Dirty Verges. We'll get to those, John and Paul. We'll get to those in a minute.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. If you want to give us a call this morning, then do it, I suppose, really, is the instruction. We've got some texts. Dirty Verges. We're looking for your Dirty Verges. Paul says the 414 Hatfield Tesco's is the worst place for rubbish, and Tesco should be made to clean it up. When I was growing up, I lived in Valley Road, St Albans, and St Albans Council supplied a skip for residents to fill. So all the local adults and kids had a fun day going into Beach Bottom Dyke. That's an interesting name, isn't it? Clearing all the rubbish. Well, me and my friends had good fun. Good community day. John from Datchworth says, here we go, the same one. Verges, near the A414 Tesco Dirty Verge site is a new housing building site, and opposite the site entrance across the road there are loads of large polystyrene insulation blocks about the size of car doors blown there from the building site and obviously waiting for Welwyn and Hatfield Council to pick up at the taxpayers' expense, which is why the local authority not making the house builder rectify the obvious eyesore. Why is? Okay, I got that in there. South African Jim from Cyprus is on the line. Morning, Jim.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
You forgot my name for a second, Jim.
Sorry.
It was uncomfortable for everybody.
Please forgive me.
You are forgiven.
Yeah, I think there's something behind your vegetarianism. I think you're fasting under orders by the missus.
What?
Last Monday was Clean Monday.
Yes.
For the Greek Orthodox Church.
Yes.
50 days before Easter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Our Easter this year, as you know, is with the Catholic and the COV as well.
Yes, exactly. You've managed to align it. Yes.
So if you want to go to Greece this year, it's going to cost you a fortune. Obviously.
Man, I think I'm working. Yeah, I think I'm working then. Do you know? I think for Easter, I think rather we're going to the holy site of Euro Disney.
In Paris,
yeah, to worship.
The children.
Yeah, no, we're leaving the kids behind. It's just we're taking the kids with us to worship at the altar of Mickey Mouse.
Brilliant. Have a good time, all of you.
Yeah.
But anyway, Greek fasting is olives, pickled celery.
Oh, what?
All pickled stuff, olives, tomatoes, lettuce, loads and loads of bread, olive oil and lemon.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, as you know, coriander.
I've got a joke. I've got a joke that I wrote. It's a Greek joke, okay? Yeah. And I think this joke is brilliant, right? Yeah. And I need my team to finish, because they need to be part of this, because I think this joke is great. Team, are you with me, right?
Right, go on.
This is a Greek joke.
Is this going to be offensive?
Now...
If you speak Greek, I'm sorry.
No, the word for stop in Greek...
The word for?
The word for stop in Greek, Jim, is stomata.
Stomata, bravo.
Right, okay, right. So this is the joke. So I say, it's in a slight accent.
Uh-oh.
I say this to you, Jim, right? And you're going to be you're going to be kind of my Ernie Wise, my Sid Little, right? My Tommy Cannon. Here we go.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
What's stomata?
Stomata is...
No, you say you say stop.
Nothing. Nothing's the matter.
No, Jim!
You
ruined it. You say stop. Right, okay.
Stop, yeah, stop.
Okay. Jim, what's the matter?
Stop.
But no, I'm just asking, what's the matter?
Nothing.
No, you keep... No, Jim, the thing is you have to...
Do you want to do it on me?
No, because you're not Greek.
No,
you have to keep saying stop. Right?
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Jim?
Yeah. Yes.
What's the matter?
Stop.
No. I'm just asking. What's the matter?
Stop.
All right, calm down, fella. I just want to know what's the matter.
Nothing's the matter.
No, you don't. No, Jim.
You killed it.
Jim, thank you very much indeed. That's a good joke, yeah.
Do you know what my kid's favourite joke is at the moment?
Hang on a second. You just brushed over my joke.
Well, you know, I think it's best.
How many jokes?
Knock.
How many?
Knock. Who's there?
Interrupting cows.
No.
Oh, no, I'm supposed to do it.
I know, but
back to the spotlight on me. How many others of you have written jokes in foreign languages? None of you have.
I've got one in Spanish.
Did you write it?
No.
No, you see.
Well, yeah, all right, we'll say yes.
Okay.
Spanish man's in a shop looking for socks.
This is in English.
Yeah.
Unless I can understand Spanish.
Yours was in English, no. but using a Greek term. I thought that was a rule.
Well, I mean...
Do you want to hear it or not?
I'm not sure I do.
You want to hear it? Come on.
Only because we haven't got much content,
okay,
yes.
Listen. Spanish man's in a shop looking for socks, and he's saying, can I have, how you say, and he couldn't think of the word.
Yeah.
And so the man goes through the drawers and he says, these, holds up a pair of pants. No. Can I have,
Why doesn't he say socks?
He doesn't know the word for socks. He's Spanish.
Is he in English or in Spain?
He's in England, but he's looking for socks.
Why would you buy socks on holiday?
Anyway, so he gets out pants. No. I'm looking for, how do you say?
I would point to my feet and go...
He brings out the hats.
Socks.
No.
Point.
Finally brings out the socks, and the Spaniard says, eso sí que es. Why didn't you say so? Eso sí que es means, yes, that's it.
I don't understand.
S-O-C-K-X. S spells socks.
Well, it doesn't, does it?
S-O-C-K-S.
Yeah, but you said SOCKX.
Yeah, but I messed that up. SOCKS. That's it. Also spells out socks.
But why? You can't do a joke where the punchline, you have to take the first letter of each word and then make a word out of
I'm
it.
not saying that. The actual term, yes, that's it, SOCKS.
Yeah.
Also, happily, for us, for joke purposes, sounds like you're spelling out socks.
Te quiero.
Bueno, vamos a ver.
Te quiero, pero dices nada. I mean, you don't say anything.
I love you, but you don't say anything.
Yeah.
Where have you heard that?
I don't know.
Where on earth have you heard that?
Silly phrase I've got. Dirty Verges! It's Lynn in Hemel. Morning, Lynn.
I've got a song for you.
Oh, for goodness. Listen, we've got some very important visitors from a local school coming in any minute now, and they're coming in to experience the thrust, the bite, the excitement of a live news show, and we're doing jokes in Spanish, and we've got Lynn in Hemel with a song.
Sorry.
Oh, well, we've got nothing else, Lynn, so we might as well have it. Go on.
Oh, go on then. It's based on madness.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dirty verges, dirty verges, dirty verges. We don't want them. No? It's the best I could come up with. It's quite early.
Yeah. Let's just hear the girl. What was the girls' one again? Girls, where you go?
Dirty Verges.
No, there's
better. Clean for the very last time. Dirty Verges. Pick your stuff up. You filthy swine.
Okay, I'm going to let them go.
Obviously theirs were a lot better and they've got nice voices.
I never thought I'd say it, but their song is actually better than another song, that other song being yours, Lynn. But
yes, I'm sorry, I think you're absolutely right.
Could you give us a call tomorrow and try again?
Possibly.
Okay. I don't listen. I feel like Simon Cowell now.
I feel really gutted now.
You've not made it through to boot camp, Lynn.
Oh, well, hey-ho.
Yeah, keep trying. Maybe we'll see you next year.
I'm surprised you haven't had lots of veggie people ringing up and shouting at you.
It's too weak to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Lynn, would you ever wear fur?
I've actually got a fur coat.
Do you wear it nowadays?
And it sounds a bit weird. It was my late partner's mother's, and it's made of moles.
What?
Oh, no.
A coat made of moles?
It's made of moles.
Are you sure it's not just called mole skin?
No, that's like the fabric you get on
because mole skin isn't made of
it's made of moles.
A coat of moles? And has it got their noses and whiskers on?
No, it's just their bodies.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I've actually got the receipt for it. It was bought in 51.
Yeah.
And it cost something like £80.
In 1951? You could buy a row of houses for that.
I know, and it's made of moles.
Lynn, thank you. A mole coat?
Oh. The wind in the willows ended badly, didn't it?
That really has sent a shiver down my spine.
Hey, have you seen this text we've had from Iain?
No, go on.
He's in a fur dilemma.
Oh, go on.
Hi Iain, a dilemma regarding fur.
Yeah.
I was left a collection of real fur coats and hats. I've no interest in keeping them, but would throwing rather than selling them be a bigger waste of an animal's life? From incorrectly spelt Iain.
Well, we'll go have a little look. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go to a famous online auction site called eBay, and I'm going to see if there are fur coats on there, because I bet fur coats would go for quite a few quid. I reckon you'd get a few quid for that.
Would that be wrong? Should they be given a proper burial?
He's not killing the animals. There's a faux fur. We want real fur. Real fur. Real fur. Let's have a little look. Let's have a mink coat, 90 quid.
Wow.
Fox vintage jacket, 40 quid. Oh, it's not that good, is it, really? Chuck them. Chuck them.
Is that disrespectful, though? That's
bury
lives. That's little lives.
Bury them. Say a prayer. What are you going to do?
They go in.
Hope that sorted it out for you. Peter's on the line. Morning, Peter.
Good morning, Iain. Peace be with you,
Thank you, boss. What you got for me?
Vegetarians.
Yes.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with being a vegetarian. You should go back to it, because I've been a vegetarian for a long, long time.
Yes.
And very healthy. However, the butchering of halal and kosher meat, which is pretty primitive to say the least, this practice goes back thousands of years when they didn't have electricity or the means to stun, etc. And they're just carrying on their ancient customs in this modern 21st century that we're living in. Let them come up to date and do it properly. Not that I would ever eat meat, but that's a one way forward.
Some people are saying it's anti-Semitic, Peter.
Absolute rubbish. It's anti-animal welfare because the poor animal is hung up. It must be absolutely terrified. I can't even imagine what the slaughterhouse looks like, let alone eating meat. Moleskin, as I'm a mole catcher, they must have had thousands of moles to make a moleskin coat.
You catch moles?
Yeah, I'm a mole catcher, yes.
Is that your job?
Well, one of the things.
What do you do with the moles when you've caught them?
Well, we leave them in a prominent position so that birds of prey, crows, stoats, buzzards, etc., can then have a little bit of a feast.
Oh, hang on a second, Peter. Hang on a second. So you kill these moles?
Well, that's the only way of getting rid of them, I'm afraid.
And you're a vegetarian?
And I'm a vegetarian.
How do you live with that huge contradiction in your life?
I actually, every time I catch a mole, I say a few words and I thank the mole for giving itself up to me. And I'm very, very sorry for its death.
You don't, Pete. Do you really?
I do, yes.
Pretend you've got a dead mole in front of you that you've just murdered. What would you... tell me what you'd say.
I just say, sorry to have taken your life, but you will have a better future.
I'm touched by that, but I'm confused. Peter, I've got to end it there. Thank you very much. Fascinating calls. Every time we speak to Peter, and a lot of you callers, I think I know you. I think I've kind of got a grasp on you. I think I understand what shapes you as a person. And then all of you, every now and then, just something comes out. Peter's a vegetarian who kills moles, and to ease his conscience, he says a prayer for the moles. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Rosie is texted in regards to the gentleman who had the fur coats. What was it? He inherited a lot of fur coats.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do with them.
No, and thought, would it be disrespectful to just chuck them?
Well, she's come up with a good suggestion. Tell the guy with the fur coats to sell them and donate the money to an animal preservation charity. There you go. And Tim says, Ian, if we weren't supposed to eat meat, God wouldn't have invented animals. Ho, 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 ho. Kelly's in Luton. Morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
You're joining our Dirty Verges campaign.
I am, yes. I just wanted to ring up and let you know that I work for Signposts in Luton, the homeless charity.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got a volunteer group called Team SP. It's amazing. It's the staff and all of our clients, and we get together and do jobs in the community. And on Saturday the 5th of April, we're actually going to a riverbank to do a litter clearance.
Oh.
But we're looking for many volunteers. This is going to be a big job. So if anyone would like to get involved, it'd be great.
What day did you say? Saturday the 5th of April?
That's correct.
Well, yeah. I know for a fact that Catherine is free then.
well, no, I'm lambing. I would do it, but I'm lambing that week and I'm needed on the farm.
I'm going to sit to the theatre with Paul Scoynes.
And then you're going to eat cheese.
We're going to go to a cheese restaurant, yeah. Imagine that, a restaurant, Kelly, where they only serve cheese. Isn't that wrong? Well, listen, that's very good of you. If people want to come and join you and help out, how do they get in touch?
If they go onto our website, there's details on there to give us a ring. The lady that's championing this is Phil, and if you just ask for her, she'll be able to give you as much information as possible.
Well done, you. It is one of the things that does get my go. There is no excuse for dropping litter at all, is there?
Not really.
Give us the website, Kelly. You told us to go there, and then we didn't get the address. So
it's www.signpostsso.co.uk.
Hang on a second, Justin. Are you free on Saturday, the 5th of April?
Quite possibly, yes.
Do you want to go? Please come down, Justin.
Please come down. Come on, beg me more. Come on.
No, Kelly. No, don't.
Come on, play this game. It's fun.
No, you don't have to demean yourself in front of Justin Dealey. Justin, why don't you go? I would, but I'm going to the theatre with Paul Scoynes. Why don't you go down and pick up some litter?
It sounds like a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon out.
I tell you what, this is what you can do, Justin. I don't want to put you on the spot, but why don't you, after your show, 9 till 12 on a Saturday, go down there. You can record a little piece for the show.
It sounds like an offer I can't refuse.
Well, we're starting at McDonald's in Birmingham Road and then working our way all the way to, is it Bancroft Road?
Yeah.
so it's a long stretch.
You're selling it well, yeah.
And we're starting at 9:30 and finishing at 3:30, fingers crossed.
Kelly, give us a ring on the Friday the 4th during the show, so we'll definitely give you another plug, and I'll see if I can twist Justin Dealey's
Thank you
masculine
so
arm.
much.
Kelly, it's nice to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks a lot. Have a lovely day.
Ta-ta, bye-bye. There we go. Well, she sounded nice, didn't she, just?
A community champion.
You up for that?
I think so. I'll check my diary, but at this moment in time, it's clear until about 9 o'clock.
Ah, dear. Now listen, we've got you out and about this morning. Fur is making a comeback, baby. It was fashionable in the 70s. It sort of started going out of fashion a bit in the 80s. I remember the tide turning ever so slightly. In the 90s, there was I'd rather go naked than wear fur, that big campaign. But it's coming back. Rihanna wears it. I mean, that's when she's bothering to wear clothes. Kate Moss wears it. It's been featured in a big fashion show recently, but would people feel comfortable wearing it, Just?
It's in all the papers this morning. I don't think fur will ever make a big comeback. Yes, you're talking about A-list celebrities there who wear it because you know what happens, Ian. Photographs are taken and they get put into national newspapers. I've been in Harpenden this morning talking to people about fur. Here's what happened.
Madam, you would never wear real fur. Tell me why.
Unthinkable to wear real fur. Why? We don't have the right to wear another creature's coat. It's barbaric.
Do you eat meat?
Yes, but only if it's free range.
And if you knew somebody was wearing a real fur coat, would you say something to that person?
I would say something to that person, definitely.
Would you be quite aggressive in your thoughts?
I would feel quite aggressive, but I don't think that's the way to change people's minds, so I wouldn't be aggressive.
But you certainly get your point across.
Yes.
Jane, very simply, would you ever wear real fur?
No, I wouldn't.
Tell me why.
Just for the principle of the fact that it's an animal, really. So, but I suppose if it dies naturally, you've got to keep warm, and some countries do use every part of an animal to survive, so in that sort of case it's different, I think.
But here, you certainly wouldn't do it, you don't believe in it at all?
No.
I mean, how can I put this? Stereotypically, Harpenden's quite a posh area.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes see people wearing real fur coats here?
I wouldn't know if it was a real fur or not, so I suppose they would. I suppose they do, yeah.
Now, Iris, you've had a fur jacket for many, many years. Let me put this question to you. Do you feel guilty for owning a jacket like that?
No. Why should I? I'm not wearing it, and, you know, I wouldn't go... I don't go out in it because it's not the fashion. People don't wear them. That's all.
So, if it was the fashion, would you wear it again? Would you almost feel like the odd one out for wearing it here?
If it was the fashion... If other people were wearing them, I might do, yes. I'm not really interested in fur jackets. It's just when my husband bought it, and I just wore it at the time for a while, but I haven't worn it since, you know.
But you got no guilt for owning a jacket like that at all?
No, not really.
Well, madam, you own a fur jacket. Do you have any guilt for owning that jacket at all?
No, none whatsoever, because the animal was already dead, and if I wasn't wearing it, it would just be hanging in the wardrobe gathering dust. And it belonged to my mother and my grandma and her mother before that, so it's been passed on.
So you still wear it now?
I still wear it now.
Now, when you wear that, do people stereotype you? Do you almost feel like people want to say something to you?
I've never had any problems whatsoever with it. And I notice when I go, say to France or Belgium, nearly all the women there are wearing fur jackets. Yes.
Do you think in this country maybe we're just a bit too uptight about it?
I think so, yes.
I don't get what the difference is, Justin. Is if you're going to eat meat, or you're going to wear leather. I saw I saw a gentleman in his 60s wearing leather trousers yesterday.
Oh,
very
lovely.
posh
I've got a pair myself.
It was a thoroughly unpleasant sight. Yeah. But what's the difference, really?
I think the main difference between, if we're going to have this debate about eating meat, killing animals to either eat, I think, from my point of view, I think the difference is, if you're eating meat, that's because we need to eat. You don't need to be walking down the high street having the latest fashionable jacket. You don't need to be doing that. That, to me, is not a necessity. That, for me, is the main difference between the two.
But neither is eating meat, really. It's not a necessity you go and have against us.
No, but of course we need to eat to live, don't we? We don't need to be wearing high-end jackets to live. We don't need to be doing that.
We don't need leather shoes.
No, that's a good point again. Is it that lady saying there about only buy free range? Well, you're still eating meat at the end of the day. But I didn't think I'd find anybody this morning who owned a jacket, let alone who was still prepared to walk down the high street here and wear that jacket and have no issues with that whatsoever. I was quite shocked.
I don't know if you've been listening to this morning, Justin. I know you tend not to because you personally you hate me, and that's fine. But I've come off the vegetarian wagon for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah,
and I'm going to pop down to Prisoners. I'm going to have my first bacon sandwich in 25 years. Do you want to come and watch?
Do you not feel guilty about this though? Seriously, if you're a vegetarian, how can you go back to eating meat and laugh and joke about it? I think it's outrageous.
Don't listen.
Come on, it is. Come on.
I'm not a local councillor that you're chasing up some stairs, for goodness sake. You can't get me with that trick. I do feel guilty. Yeah. I do feel guilty. I do feel guilty, and that's what I'm struggling with at the moment. That's kind of that's why I've set myself 2 weeks. I'm allowing myself the experience of the meat, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the taste of the meat, but it is sitting uncomfortably with me ethically, yes.
So why are you doing this again? Just what, an experiment, or just you've had enough and you want to go back to meat, or...
Why am I doing it?
Yeah, why? How does it make you feel?
Life should be full of experiences, and I wanted the experience of eating meat for 2 weeks to see what it was like, to see what I was missing out on, and to see if and also I think that every now people are kind of reluctant to change in life. They kind of they get something and they stick with it. Yeah, and I think every now and then you should take a step back and question what decisions you made and whether you want to stick to them.
You know my thoughts on this. I would love to be a vegetarian, but unfortunately I can't because I'll be eating macaroni cheese all of my life, and that would get boring after a week.
You're saying that as though you often walk around the office saying, I'd love to be a vegetarian.
You know my views. I would love to be a veggie. I would love to, but unfortunately, there's just not enough choice for me.
Justin, you do excellent music show on Saturdays, 9 till 12, BBC Three Counties Radio. Who have you got on this week? Do you know?
Yes, I do actually. Eddie Reader, Fairground Attraction. Going to be on the show picking her favourite musical memories.
I hope it's perfect.
Oh, it will be. It will be.
You reckon?
Yeah, I know.
You like that? You like what I did there?
Yeah, clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else happening on there?
Yeah, we've got the UK and American.
I'm just filling for time, so...
yeah, that's no worries from this weekend in 1977. And of course, request from the biggest jukebox anywhere in Beds, Hearts and Bucks, 1 million songs.
Okay, got another 10 seconds I could do with filling if you've got anything.
Okay, you can email me now, justin.dealey@bbc.
No, that's okay. I've just been sent a picture of my boy dressed as the Hungry Caterpillar, so that's certainly filled up enough radio time, thanks. I've got a picture of my youngest boy dressed up as the Hungry Caterpillar. Life doesn't get any better than that, let me tell you. Bless you, my little boy. That's it, that's your lot. Don't forget, you can go and download the podcast of the show by going to iTunes or by going to the BBC Three Counties webpage. JVS is up next until 6 tomorrow from me. Ta-ta.
Local and vocal across Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain.